everyone! Hello! Ayo! Welcome everyone! I'm streaming again! So I'll be actually streaming 3 times this week. Isn't that insane? How's everyone doing? Hi Lulu, hi Bajorn, hi David. Hello everyone. I hope you guys are all doing well. I am pretty excited for this one, to BH. Like, not gonna lie. Yay, holiday streaming. Hi Leo, hello, and yeah, holiday streaming. Yeah. When I was over the summer, by the end of it, I was doing 4 streams a week. Like, not gonna lie. But then once school started, I legit did not have the time. Like, I couldn't do it, and it slowly dwindled into 2 streams per week. And now I'm back to doing 3 streams. I don't know if I'll do 4. I feel like 4 is still a little too much. I feel like I was killing myself when I was doing 4. But 3, I think 3 is a good number. A good number when it's, you know, when I have the free time. School is a video game killer. It really is. It really is. I legitimately had no time. When I was doing 3 streams a week, it was literally killing me on the inside. Like, I just couldn't do it. In the end, I ended up just tossing out the other streams because I was like, I can't. I'm doing school, I'm doing journalism, everything, I just can't. But now we're here, and to kind of keep with tradition, over the summer when I first started streaming, the stream that I did like during the second half of the week was always a visual novel. I did Sweet Fuse for a really long while, which is the only Otome game that was released in the West that was on the PSP. Released in the West for the PSP, I should say. And so we played that. I have it still on my channel, though I wouldn't recommend looking at it because that visual novel was absolute garbage. It was so bad, but a lot of memes came from it. I will say that. A lot of really good memes came from it. Then after that, I started doing Ace Attorney with my friend Mark. Yeah, the emote! That emote right there, the Anya Nani emote, literally came from that game. So some good things did come from it. Some good things did, even though overall it was a pile of garbage. But anyways, so along with that, during the second half of the week, I started streaming with my friend Mark, one of the prequel Ace Attorney game, I should say. One of the 2 prequel Ace Attorney games that was never released outside Japan, but has a fan translation. So basically, all the, usually during the second half of the week, I always seem to do visual novels. So yeah, first half of the week is like an actual like game, and then second half of the week is like visual novel time. So kind of bringing that back with this, which I haven't played all the way through. I play a little bit of it and decide I wanted to stream it. And for what I've played so far, it already looks like this is going to be a much better game. So I'm pretty excited for it because it so far, this game has been really cool. And another thing about this visual novel, which is called Reverie Ebon Light, or just Ebon Light, Ebon Light, I'm not really sure how to pronounce it, but it's a free game on itch.io. Like, you can download for free, and it's actually, like, for a free game, like, there's a lot to it, and I will show, like, kind of the different aspects that you can do in this game once we start, and you'll just see how much work and effort was actually put into this free game. And it made me laugh so hard because I'm like, we played Sweet Fuse, and Sweet Fuse, originally I would have had to pay for it, though I didn't because I emulated it, but normally I would have had to pay for that, and that was a piece of hot garbage. I'm like, How is it that a game that's free can be so much better than a game that I would have had to have paid for a game console? It's insane. It's like, it should be the other way around, right? It should be this I should have had to pay for, and the other one I should have been free, but nah. That's not the case. It's the opposite. It's terrible. Yeah. Anyways, I don't think we need to have the image up anymore. Yeah, there we go. Oh yeah, and the Lulu command, all I can imagine is a Saki head balloon bursting from beyond. I can remember that. Oh my gosh. That is insane. But yeah. What else? Oh yeah! I need to announce this, but some of you guys may have heard about this, but me and one of my other friends, Ralphius, we're both running a game jam, specifically a Chateau RPG Maker game jam. For those of you who don't know, I am part of a Twitch team called the Sleepy Chateau, and they're a lot of cool peeps. You can see kind of more information below my stream. There's like a picture with like the Sleepy Chateau logo and everything on it, which would lead to their Discord. There are a lot of really awesome peeps there, and I'm a part of it. Yay! But anyways, so to try and help the community get more closer together, Ralph and I decided to do an RPG Maker game jam, which we just announced officially and made an official itch.io page for it. And basically, anyone who's part of the Chateau community can make an RPG Maker game using any game engine, any assets, anything. As long as they follow the theme, which is a small town with big secrets. That's the theme. And it can be in any genre. It could be a romance, it could be a comedy, it could be a horror. It doesn't really have to be like it doesn't have to follow anything else except for like that specific, how should I put it, that specific theme. And that's it. Everything else is like fair game, as long as you also keep to the Chateau's like rules and regulations within the Discord. Like, all the rules and stuff that are mentioned in the Discord, the games have to follow as well, since this is a Chateau game jam. So it's pretty exciting that we finally have this going, and I'm really excited to see what games people come up with. And oh, by the way, as I said, anyone in the Chateau can join it, and then once they join it, there's gonna be, basically, they'll have a month to make this game. It starts from January 2nd to February 1st. That's like the time frame where people can work on their games, submit their games, things like that. And then once that's over with, Ralph and I will spend a day, we're not sure exactly when yet, but we will spend a day just streaming ourselves, playing all the games that people submitted for the game jam, which I think will be fun. There won't really be a specific like rating system or anything like that. It's mostly just a fun way for people to share their creativity and come together as a community. So I'm really excited. I've never ran a game jam before, so it's a lot of fun. But yeah, those in the Chateau, there's already a channel for it. You can go in there, ask questions, share your stuff. It's all cool. But yeah. Hope to see y'all there. But anyways, so enough about that, enough with my advertising on that. We should get started soon. So I have this thing where when I'm bored, I'll just go on itch.io and I'll just start looking up random stuff. A lot of times I'll be looking at all sorts of things, like I'll look at the horror tag, like other tags, visual novel tag, and I'll just like look up random stuff and like just download random games. A lot of times they're not good, but sometimes they are, and it can be really surprising what you can find on there. And the other day, I was looking through the itch.io visual novel tag, and I found this game. And I'm like, whoa, like the art style looks cool, some of the mechanics look cool, maybe I'll check it out. And I start playing and I'm like, whoa, this is well made. Like, I'm actually surprised. And I was so honestly, like, pleasantly surprised by how well this game is that I was like, you know what? I haven't done a visual novel on the channel for so long, and I've been wanting to do a visual novel on the channel for a while. So might as well do this one, because it looks pretty cool, and I'm pretty excited for it. Like, I'm actually, like, I can't wait to get my hands into it and get started. I'm just so excited. I don't know, I really like a good visual novel. A really good visual novel can really, you know, make my day. And I think this one will definitely be one, unlike Sweet Fuse, which was hot garbage. But yeah. Also, my cat really wants to be let out, so I'm gonna let her out real quick. Yep. Remember, Shadow, you can't be back in once you leave. I am back. Heck yeah. So, I think we should probably get started. We'll see how things go with this, TBH. So, Also, I have to say, like, this window for this is so big. I really need to shrink it a little bit. Because it's way too big. I can't see anything besides this window. Now I have to change the size on this too, dang. Oh, technical difficulties. There we go. Now it's a lot more easy for everyone. Because it was legitimately blocking my view of literally everything. I couldn't see a single thing. It was annoying. Okay. There we go. We're good. We've done it. Let me know if the sound of the game is too loud, if I'm too loud, if I'm too quiet, if the game's too quiet. Let me know if there's anything weird with the capture, anything that should be mentioned. Any and all help is good. But yeah, so let's get into it. So we're gonna do, of course, new game. It's by Underbliss. So here we actually can customize our character, which I already was like, oh, that's pretty cool that I can customize a character. That's pretty rad. I like that. I like that aspect of this game design. So I'm probably just gonna do it based off myself. Hi, Rick. Hello. Welcome, welcome. Hello. Hi, Rick. Hello. I hope you're doing well. We're playing a visual novel that actually looks pretty good from what I've played so far. I haven't gone that far into it, but it's pretty interesting so far. I'm just gonna, for this customization screen, whenever a visual novel supplies their own name, and this goes not just for visual novels, but basically all games. If I see that there's already like a name like provided, I usually just like leave it. I don't like putting in my own names, whether it be OC or just literally my own name, if there's already a name like in the game. Because then I kind of consider like that name is supposed to be the canon name, and I'm like, I'll just leave the canon name alone. So I guess we're Alenka Goffel. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but that's fine. We're just gonna leave it. So we can change our hair, but it's so fun to mess with the names. I know, but like, I don't know. First of all, I guess I'm just not that creative with names. That's the first thing. Second of all, I feel awkward putting my own name in a lot of the time if there's already like a canon name put in there. Like if it's blank, a lot of times I just put in my own name. Like I'll be like, I'm Anya. Like that's it. But a lot of times it kind of feels weird because I'm like, it is like a game. I'm not actually this person, even though I'm making the choices for this person. I leave it unless it's like had a full boyfriend. I have to restart to get different endings. I see. Makes sense. I used to name myself Sexy in Pokemon as a kid, so when everyone talked to me, they'd be like, oh, you're sexy. That's hilarious. That's so good. I've never done that, but I always love, like, seeing posts online of people, like, putting in names, like, certain names into games so that when they talk to certain characters, they'll call them certain things, and, like, it's pretty funny. Or I've also seen people, like, name themselves after a character that already exists in the game, so it's, like, people calling two different people the same person, and things like that. So good. But yeah, I would say Had a Full Boyfriend would be one of the games that I would change the name of. But not just because of the restarting thing, but because of the fact that it is meant to be kind of more of a joke thing. So it's like, I could see myself doing like butt or something. Like what we've been doing in a lot of our stuff for the podcast. So I can definitely see that. So let's see what hairstyles we have. So, I mean, we don't really have a choice on the length of our hair. It seems like no matter what we pick, it's always going to be relatively long, some longer than others. Which I'm kind of sad because I think I will try and like get it as close to looking like me as possible, even though we're not naming her after me. But I'm just gonna go off of my looks, I guess. I mean, I guess this hairstyle is kind of my hairstyle, right? It's like kind of wavy, kind of a little messy, also not too long. This is like the length of my hair before I get a haircut. So I think that's fine. Hair color. Whoa, that's really blonde. Dang. Too blonde for me. I don't have black hair. My hair is kind of red, but it's not that red. My hair is not that brown, but it's also not that, and it's not that. I think that's the closest to my hair that it's gonna get. Like, they don't really have my hair, because my hair is like strawberry blonde, so it's like a mix of red, brown, and blonde. But, oh well. I need to get my love somewhere. You'll get there, Rick. I love you, Rick. We all do. Did For the Love of God in Pokemon, but it only worked as far as Oak saying, for the love of God, don't ride your bike in here. That's so good. I wish you took a screenshot of that, Leo. That's so good. Oh, that's hilarious. It was actually Lulu in Pokemon apart from first gen when you could only be a boy. I don't recall what I called myself then. Yeah. It's so interesting to me. Yeah. Like, I'm thinking if it turns out that by the time we finish this visual novel it's still break, I might show another visual novel that I found on Itch.io. Oh, I know. I mean, you misread what I said. At what point? At what point? It was usually Lulu. I said actually instead of usually, right? I mean, sometimes that just happens. What was I saying? I don't even remember anymore. Big oof. Big oof. Oh, yeah. If I were to show another... Oh! You'll get it. Oh, you'll get it here, Rick. I'm an English major, y'all. I can read. Yes, we all love you, Rick. All the love from us over here. It's all good. But yeah, if I do another visual novel, then you guys will actually get to see a visual novel where I actually put my actual name in it. But that, again, that's only because that visual novel doesn't have a canon name to go with the character. Because it's supposed to be as open as possible. And normally I hate that, but for that game so far, like, it's okay. Anyways, eye color. Well, that's really hard to see, actually. I don't have gray eyes. That's a little too dark. Those eyes, maybe. Ooh, those look kind of hazily. That's kind of my eyes. That's a little too green. Yeah, that's my eye color, I think. Skin color. Ooh. 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 Whoa, that's a little too white. I'm not that white. I'm like that. Little too white for me. Okay, so select a disposition, which I'm guessing gives us some extra stats, which, by the way, in this game, you actually have stats that, depending on your choices, will rise and fall. So it's kind of like Princess Maker 2, I guess, in that sense, where you have stats and whatnot. So, which is pretty cool. And you also have an inventory system, too, which I think is very interesting for a visual novel. That's my skin color. I mean, my skin color is pretty blinding, but I don't think it's that blinding. I have some, you know, redness to it. It's not completely just as if I have no blood in my veins. Okay, so we have charm, attractive and likable, cunning, clever and observant, and tenacity, resilient and determined. I mean, I can be clever and observant, but there's a lot of times where I miss things. Tenacity, I mean, I can be, but I also have times where I'm just like, I'm too lazy. I procrastinate, you know. I think this is the only one I could actually give myself some extra points for. One, because I am a Scorpio, so we gotta get some of that charm in there, but also because people have told me that I seem to have a natural way of getting people to like me, or whatever, I don't know. I don't know. Oh boy. You're an English major where I'm a major failure. No, Rick! I do love doing it in Japanese games, yeah. Anya is a raw sausage. No. Charmed, I'm sure. Astrology, yep. Yes, we know you procrastinate. It's too real. Bunnily. Scorpio gang represent. Heck yeah. We here, and we cool. Heck yeah. But anyways, hi Bunnily, hello, welcome to the stream. We're playing a visual novel. And look, we can actually customize our character. I'm almost done customizing. It's pretty cool. I'm like pretty amazed that I could actually customize my character. But yeah, this is pretty close. This is me, right? Right, guys? You can see me in here. Not really, but it's good enough. It's good enough. We can head over. We can do it. Yeah, next. We're good. So, before we continue onward, well, actually, I'll wait until the game gives me the choice to do it. There was once a tomb that buried only the living. I love this art style, by the way. I really like, it's kind of like this sort of almost watercolor like look to it, and it's really pretty. It looks like she just had mouth surgery. Oh boy. The people who built the tomb were plagued with a terrible affliction, but before the affliction could consume them, they sealed the plague away in the body of a creature. Oh. The creature itself was kind and gentle, so very much so that in the great nobility of its heart, it had accepted its fate without complaint. But the people were afraid that the day the creature would escape from the tomb and the affliction... I'm not even reading the visual novel right, this is bad. But the people were afraid that one day the creature would escape from the tomb and the affliction would return. So they gathered their remaining warriors, and they made their warriors into guardians. The guardians swore an oath that they would guard the creature for as long as there was need, even if that need should be endless. With the creature, they entered the tomb and sealed themselves within, unaware of what they had promised. Years stretched on, and the guardians stood vigil. The affliction no longer threatened the people. And so, as people often do, they forgot. Dang sea. But deep, where the light could no longer reach, the warriors' conviction had begun to wane. Their vow had come with a terrible cost, and the task was simply too much to bear. For who can truly comprehend the unending? Time had turned their duty into a torment, and they were consumed by desperation. They yearned for the light, the warmth of the sun, and they despised the darkness around them. When their desperation became rage, they betrayed the creature. I've never forgot a thing in my life. Where am I again? Incredible. Don't worry, Rick, you're in a good place. Big oof, guys. They clawed out of the earth and were blinded by the sun, unaware that they had unleashed a forgotten affliction. Who's this again? Oh yeah, it's this lady. Are you done? Yes. In Edric, stories are usually relished. What else is there to do with an idle mind? You're surrounded by people who totally wouldn't sell your organs. And what was I to take from this miserable tale, Alenka? Oh, by the way, so this is what I want to show. So first of all, as you can see, we have the save, load, settings, but we also have this, the compendium, which is kind of where we get all our lore and our stats and everything. So first of all, you may have noticed there was a little thing that popped up. That was like new codex entry or whatever. Well, if we go here, we can see it right there. And then we can get our lore. Edric was founded in 1002 V by Caelic settlers. In 1011 V, the population rose above 50 for the first and last time, coming and going with the final wave of Caelic refugees to escape the capture of Calixin. Deep in the burning woods, Edric is naturally secluded, and though this had initially been a boon to the founding settlers, the seclusion is also what drove most away. What remains of Edric is a quiet, simple, hardworking people who survive on the limited bounty of their hidden world. Let me scroll down. Edric is free of both political and natural threat, though. With the woods difficult and fickle and the soil rocky and stubborn, it is far from an isolated paradise. Oh my gosh. The village of Edric has no formal leadership, and the small community has maintained itself with relative peace. Quarrels are handled privately, successful for the understanding that making an enemy of yourself within the small community would prove far too costly. There is little disparity among the Edric seal, as hoarding resources is exceptionally difficult and often fruitless. Big oof. Also, this is what I was talking about. If I click on my name, we can see my stats. So first of all, you can see here's all my stats. And from what I can tell from the little that I played of this game, as the game progresses, my stats either increase or decrease depending on my choices. And so far, it seems everything is kind of at like 0 except for charm. Which makes sense considering that I did give myself a little extra charm and disposition. So my charm is a little bit higher than everything else's. But yeah, I could have chosen to have the cunning up or the tenacity up, but instead I went with charm. Heck yeah. And we can see here there's history, but then there's also inventory as well, which we don't have anything at the moment, but we could. Must be nice having low anxiety, yep. Right? But yeah, so later we'll get like people and lore and stuff, but we don't have any of that yet. So we can just move on. And no rest. I think the rest part is, from what I can tell, it's more just like how you are at the moment. So are you at like rest, or like are you more crazy, or are you more like strong and holding on to things? Like, I'm not sure if it means like, are you rested enough? But I don't know. I honestly don't know what that means. And what was I to take from this miserable little tale, Lenka? So, never trust anyone, fools make foolish oaths, darkness cannot be sealed away, nothing, just passing the time. Well, I don't think it should be never trust anyone, because, I mean, what can you expect for people to just sit in that dark place for all eternity? Heck no, fools make foolish oaths. I don't know if it's really foolish. I mean, it was a big issue. No one really knows how to comprehend too much time. Darkness cannot be sealed away. I mean, that's not necessarily the case. I mean, if they just left him alone, maybe it would have been fine. Nothing, then what was the point of telling the story? I think if I were to say it, I would just say just passing the time. That's kind of what I would say. Especially since she just said, like, not too long ago, like, oh, you know, telling stories is just what you do to pass the time on this island where there's, like, nothing to do. So I feel like she already answered the question. Like, I don't even know why we're given this choice here when technically she's already answered this question, like, within her own mind. I feel weird making any other things. Leo would go for the nothing. And Rick would go never trust anyone. Yeah. I don't know. I think I'm just gonna say just passing the time. Nihilism, yeah, heck yeah. The meaning of nothing. A story for the sake of a story, that is all. You know, if you were a proper Edric seal, you'd appreciate it. Dang. Throwing her under the bus, I see. You have much to do, Alenka. Go on, get to work. You can reveal the quick menu here. So we can do stuff here with playing, fast forwarding, settings and whatnot, or we can just hit escape, which is what I did earlier. Which I find easier to do, actually. Look at this! It's so pretty. On my way into the village, I discovered Edric had visitors. It is rare to see outsiders here, but these men were an exception. They came just often enough that we were no longer surprised by them. Most of the time they kept to themselves. But even the friendliest of their number would grow evasive and choose words very carefully if asked too many questions. Luckily, for their dislike of meddling, we disliked change. We left each other be and suited one another fine. As it would happen, I was caught in a conversation with one of our visitors, Rylan, a crew member of the Serpentine, the most beautiful ship man dared dream of. Not that I had anything to compare with, nor the wish to disagree. Oh, new codex entry. I'm guessing it's under lore. Yeah, Serpentine. The Serpentine. The Lalari-made ship was once a duke's vessel, and by all accounts, every nefarious secret the black ship holds is a product of a man far more wicked than any pirate. A mutiny of the most unexpected sort occurred shortly after the Serpentine first set voyage. A small minority overpowering the more heavily armed majority, defying nearly every prediction of failure. The small band of Mariners doubled in number overnight and tripled before the Serpentine's ducal commissioner could form a response. The Duke's interest in recapturing her mysteriously vanished. The Duke's interest in recapturing her mysteriously vanished as the Serpentine began making a name for itself up the Lalari coast. A lot of stuff I'm having to remember here. Also, look at this guy. What a look. What is it? What voice should I give him? He kind of looks like a country guy. Spots, my dear. Y'all. But from where? Well, I'm not sure. What? Can't you tell me anything? Okay, you're not sure where you stole it. Can't you tell me anything about it? Well, then why should I care about it? Yeah. I would say this. Spice? Is this Dune? Yeah. I mean, I think I would say, well, then why should I care about it? Because, like, he's wanting to give me the spice, right? But why should I trade for the spice if he's not even going to tell me what the spice is? Well, then, why should I care about it? If you can't even tell me where you got it from, I don't see how it makes any difference to you. If it's not from Edric, then it's just from Solaire, somewhere out there, somewhere not here. I'm gonna press the issue. Why is he being so vague? That's freaking weird. Press it. I really prefer to have at least a slight idea of what I'm getting when I trade. I realize this is an eccentricity of mine, but bear with me. Oh, surely you can guess at why it might be difficult for me to give you details, why you might be better off not knowing. And that is exactly why I want to know where it came from. I don't know if I want to be involved in whatever this is. Calm down, it's nothing that scandalous, my dear. It's just spice in a modest amount of that. I obtained it along with a few other equally mundane trinkets. Yeah, I gotta play Dune at some point. I do want to play that for a forgotten game. Besides, do you really care where I got it? Well, I guess not. I mean, if I really think about it, it is just spice. Maybe I'm just, like, overthinking this. Speaking of, have you sorted out what Autumn wants this week? No, I haven't. I really need to talk to Autumn about what we're doing for this episode of 3 Nerds and 1 Forgotten Game. I really gotta do it. Probably after this stream, I'll talk to Autumn, be like, hey, we really need a game this week. Big oof. Well, no. Well, you have a point. I thought so. So, do we have a deal? Ryan wanted to trade his mystery pouch of spice for a few of the ramps in my pack. It was an unusual opportunity. This kind of sounds like Jack and the Beanstalk. right? You know, like trading the cows for like a few beans. And then like you throw the beans and all of a sudden a giant beanstalk grows and you're like, whoa, what the frick? That's what this feels like right now. So I'm kind of like worried about this mysterious pouch of spice. Got that vibe too, yeah. It's pretty weird. But I had no room for frivolousness. Everything we forged was accounted for, and everything lost an empty belly. And there's Ryland to consider, of course. He's an entirely chaotic element of his own, a sailor, charming enough now, and while I've never seen him do anything suspicious, his idea of haggling is probably steal or kill. Don't think spice works that way, you never know. Well, I'm not saying like we're gonna plant it, but I have a feeling like the spice isn't just some normal spice, is what I'm getting. I mean, I haven't gone very far. Like, I literally only got like around here and then stopped, but like, you never know. Should we try to haggle, agree to the trade, or decline? I honestly don't know what to pick here. Actually, we should save. Save. There we go. Return. So what should we do? I'm leaving it up to you guys, actually. Should we try and haggle, agree to the trade, or decline? Because I honestly don't know what to pick. I'm like, I kind of want to agree because do the haggle. Okay, I'm going to try and haggle. This is my dilemma. Each of the rams we gathered yesterday are particularly accounted for already. Practically. Try and imagine my situation, Ryland. We and Edric do not have many luxuries. We certainly don't have interest in fancy little pouches of spice. It's all very simple here. You're charming, right? Yep, I am. You're trying to haggle with me? Oh, dang. Insufficient cunning. No, already up to our first roadblock because of our stats. Big oof. Oh, alright. I guess we're getting it then. I suppose it's little use. Yes, that's right. It's good to recognize your betters. I'm gonna punch you, Ryland. I'm glad that you're probably just like an extra character, I'm guessing. So I'm ready to punch. Ready to fight you. You wanna mess with me, bro? I'll kick you. Don't get smug too fast. Don't get too smug too fast, Ryland. Ryland turned to leave. I was happy to let him leave quickly as he wanted. I wanted to ask for stories of the seas. I wanted to see if he had more to trade. I mean, we've already made a big trade. Yes, I hope he dies. Yeah, same. Honestly, I don't think we should trade anymore because I'm pretty sure we just traded that, right? That's what I'm guessing. Wait, can we see it in our inventory? Is it there? Do we have it? It's not in our inventory. I can't tell because they're both empty. Ooh, wait, but look. This has gone down a little bit. I now have some vice, apparently. Big oof. Not good. I thought vice and spice for a second. Oh my gosh. So I don't think we should trade anymore. Because we've obviously let go of a lot of stuff. Because I'm guessing we did the trade just then. Because we did say alright. I'm gonna guess we did it. Even though it's not showing up in our inventory. I think we should ask for stories. Stories don't cost anything, I hope. Click. Ryland? You're leaving so soon? Itching for stories, aren't you? Well, yes, of course, you already knew that. All right, I can make a bit of time. Which story shall I tell? The places you've seen, the might of the sea, something rare and beautiful. Which should we pick, guys? Again, another choice that I'm leaving it up to you guys because I don't know which to pick. I'm a very indecisive person. I'm so sorry. When I'm decisive about a choice, I'll pick it. But if I'm like really indecisive, I'm just gonna leave it to you guys because otherwise I'll be sitting here for ages not knowing what to pick. Oh boy. But I mean, honestly, yes, rare. Yeah, I was thinking rare and beautiful too. I'll see what Lulu has to say if she has a preference. Because I did just do it before Lulu even said anything earlier. Oh boy. Or I guess Lulu doesn't care. Oh boy. I guess we can do something rare and beautiful then. Yeah, it might be fun. Let's do it. Something rare and beautiful. You want to be charmed, is it? You want a captivating tale of allure? Alright, let's try a classic. You know what a mermaid is? A mermaid? A woman who's part fish? Ooh, another codex entry. I love all this lore. Lalari mermaids. All across the coasts of the Pillar Ocean, tales of mermaids spring, each with varying credibility and frequency. But in Lalari, the tales are infrequent yet eerily consistent. First a heavy moon, then a raving madness striking those of a later age, and finally the faces under the water. All the alleged encounters with Lalari mermaids have been peaceful, at least on behalf of the mermaids. One survivor of Fate's Bell claimed his crewmen, in a raving panic, jumped in the water and attempted to tackle the mermaids. He alleged the mermaids quickly disappeared under the water, but his crew, so intent on striking them down, followed and drowned. The survivor was 12 years old, the youngest aboard Fate's Bell. Scout Luendrasi's 12 Lalari report. Interesting. A mermaid, a woman who's part fish? Yes, that's it. You hear about mermaids up and down the coast. Every other little village has their own particular tale, usually their own particular description of what goes where, too. You hear stories of mysterious, crazy things all the time, and you learn to ignore most of it. But you also learn to keep your eyes open, because every now and then the stories are true. One night the ship was heading home to Lalari. The sea was calm, the moon was bright and heavy, so calm, so bright, and so heavy that it was kind of strange. The oldest of the crew got antsy and began pacing the deck, fidgeting and twitching, couldn't keep their eyes off the water. I thought something was wrong with them, but that was the day I learned to respect my elders. It was the rest of us that were wrong. A pair of the old men rushed past me and shoved me aside, so I spin around to see what they're doing. They're looking over the deck down into the water, so I do too, and I see dozens of faces staring up right back at us. The old men started raving, screaming, and shaking, not sure what they were trying to do, but determined to be hollering loud as they could all the while. The rest of us were just staring at the faces, all just barely under the surface of the water. Large eyes twinkling in the moonlight, unblinking, focused. They never surfaced. They stayed for hours, and then just before sunrise, they all sunk deeper under the water till we couldn't see them anymore. In unison like a pod. Maybe more like a swarm. That sounds scary, huh? Beautiful, though. Never heard of anything like that happening anywhere, and I doubt it'll ever happen again. And if they weren't the most captivating faces. Are you, sure that all actually happened? Mostly sure. If it was some kind of dream or drunken visage, I'm not the only one who had it. Well, there's your story, my dear. Goodbye, Linka. See you tomorrow, eh? I hope not. I don't like him. I mean, I guess he's okay. Wait, I wonder, did we get a codex entry for him? People. Oh, we did! Rylan Kenna. Rylan cannot be more than 30 years old, and no one would be quick to call him wise or mature. Even so, he has experiences in his eyes, whispering of grand and terrible adventure. The only family he speaks of is an older brother, Tiernan, who serves aboard the Serpentine with him. When it was that Rylan turned to piracy is a mystery, most notably to Rylan himself. He seems to believe that he has always been a member of the Serpentine's crew. He expresses no desire to change, nor does he seem to regret a thing. Yet, for as amoral as this must make him, he is relatively pleasant to be around. He is quick to smile, easily befriended, and yet difficult to fully trust. Stolen spice, yep. Heck yeah. That's exactly it. Anyways, so Aunt Vanya? No one answered back. Oh, what's happened to our aunt? Our hut was humble, though I understood this only in the way that I understood elsewhere people kept massive fields with servants and livestock. But elsewhere was elsewhere. Here in Edric, our hut was something to be proud of, no reason to feel shame or envy. Aunt Vanya was, in fact, very proud of our hut, but looking at it, the only thing I could see was a fence in need of mending. It had been threatening to give way for weeks, though nothing new. It had been in one state of disrepair or the next since I was a child. First of all, I just noticed we got another person, our aunt. Our Aunt Vanya. Whoa! There is our aunt. There she is. Vanya Gofil is not particularly forthcoming with her past. She was never married, has no children of her own, and has no friends to speak of either. But to ask her, this is exactly how she wants it. When Vanya's brother Chorus died, Alenka was 9 years old. With her father dead, Alenka was an orphan, and the task of raising the child fell to Vanya. Despite an air of protest, she took on the task faithfully, determined to raise her niece healthy and protected. She is not one for nonsense or idle prattle, and she spends most of her time gathering what she can for mere survival. She enjoys the barest of creature comforts. She is easily frustrated, and she lacks the patience required for dealing with the majority of people. Big oof. I did not expect her to look like this. But yeah. So we got that. Also, of course. Oh, hey, it's me. No, Lulu. You're beautiful. That's me. Vanya is me, actually. That's me in the game. That's me. Also, of course, our main character has to be an orphan. There's not a single game where you play a character who has a nice, loving family. They all have to be dead or something. Okay, so kicking it is not gonna help. Ignoring it, I don't know. I guess we'll just try and fix it for like the 232nd time. Nah, you're better than that, Anya. Oh, thanks, David. I looked about for something heavy and found a rock. There was a soft ruffling of leaves from somewhere behind me. What are you doing? Oh, wow. So we can say, hello, Aunt Vanya. You startled me. Where were you? None of your business. I mean, she just saw us, so I guess, hello, Aunt Vanya. Find anything interesting? Nah, you didn't answer me. Oh, I just got home as well. You're home early, aren't you? I can't figure out what voice to give her. I had a lucky day. Shara took all the ramps bright and early. Yeah, well, then let's see if your luck holds. Switch packs with me and finish the foraging. What? That's not fair. Save your breath. I have business in the village tonight, and my back is already sore. Vanya, Anya, some key similarities. Right? Right, Leo? We're connected. This is actually me when I'm old. Right here. This is me. Living in a hut. Well, you either have one dead or missing parent or both are, and I mainly meant the part of not having patience. Ah, I see. Makes sense. Relatable. What business do you have in the village? Business? What do you possibly want in the village? You hate going into the village. We do things we hate when they're necessary, don't we? What are you going to do? I don't have time to chat, Alenka. Neither do you. Not with a whole forest to forage. Oh, I guess we're just going then. So far, the foraging was uneventful. I had my sickle, some mostly empty packs, and a few unimpressive roots that probably should have stayed in the ground for a couple more weeks. The forest was warm today. It felt nice against my skin. I had a right to complain about the added foraging, but if I was being honest, the solitude was nice enough that I was enjoying myself. But I knew the burned forest well. There was little I would find worth foraging today. So, should we keep foraging, explore, or relax? I kind of want to explore, but I'll leave this to you guys, actually. Time to decide, are we going to keep foraging, explore, or relax? My vote is on explore, but I wonder what you guys will think. Lulu rage. She's gonna quit this time. She means it. I love it. Explore, yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to do too. Does anyone else have any votes to throw into the pile of possibilities? Take a look around, yeah. I guess we'll explore then. Let's go. Though I knew where the woods kept its berries and roots, and though I had explored what seemed to be every tree and every rock since I was young, I also knew that the forest could never be fully explored. The sun was falling, beaming through the trees. It was time to go home. Wait, what? What was that? What was that? That was weird. I'm gonna throw a rock at it. And missed. Who's there? Nothing answered. I was sure I'd seen someone. I ran home. There was definitely a person there. Bowl of possibilities. When I made it home, I found Vanya gone. For once, I missed her terribly. It's not as though our hut offered much safety, not from people. Foreigners did not come to Edric. Alenka. Vanya. What's gotten into you? There was someone in the woods. Was there? A person, a man, I think. Dark clothes. A man in dark clothes. Perhaps it was Borthus. No, I called out and he didn't respond. No longer alone, I began to feel a bit calmer. I'm gonna say I was actually very curious. Auntie has quite the skull collection. I know, right? Like, what's going on up here? What is this? What are these things? Vanya, were you like some big adventurer back in the day? Is there some secret lore that we don't really know? I was actually very curious. If it was a stranger, where might he have come from, and why? Except for Rylan and his crew. Ah, the pirates are in Edric? Then that's probably what you saw. A pirate. But he didn't look like a sailor. Pirate. And what does a sailor look like, pray tell? Well, alright. I suppose that makes as much sense as anything. But in that case, a pirate was stalking me out in the woods and hid when I spotted him. My aunt handed me a warm cup. Here. It smells sweet. Well, don't get used to it. She took an arrow to the knee. The sweetness lasted only a moment once on the tongue. The drink had an aftertaste that was quite bitter. Not exactly unpleasant, but strange. No, guys! Guys! What if that was the spice? What if we just drank the spice? What if Vanya just gave us the spice? Guys. Guys, what if we drank it? What if we just drank it? Did we just drink the spice? I'm big scared. Did we drink the spice? I found myself lost in an effort to identify the taste. After it was all gone, I finally asked, what'd you put in it? Some of that spice. Some... What? Gonna get really high. Yep. Ryland spice? You just put it in my drink? Were the beans stuck? I guess. Dang, is something going to sprout out of our stomach or something? It smelled like it would be good for it. You seem to have agreed. Drank it all without complaint. But I was going to. A hot drink always calmed me down, and this is the thanks I get? Spicy points. It's booze. Oh my gosh. Hey, Anya. Hey, hi. Hey, Trav. Hello. Welcome, welcome. We're playing a visual novel at the moment that's like really interesting so far. I'm not gonna lie. Also, we were able to customize our character. This is the character I customized. I'm so, like, I love games where you can customize it. Hey, it's not booze. Unbelievable. A stalker, an aunt who puts unidentified spice in my drinks without telling me, and an indefensible hut. I went to bed in a foul mood. I fell asleep quickie. What? I'm losing my mind. I fell asleep quickly. Quicker than usual. It's just some harmless LSD. Oh boy. Where is it? Unfortunately, I didn't wake gently. You going mad on me, girl? ... I'm gonna say not just yet. I don't think we're mad. I think we just drank something a little weird. No, I think not. I was having a very strange dream, though. What was it about? You just woke up yelling something. I don't remember. Dreams are funny that way. What did I yell? I got a massive delay, mate. Excuse me. Where is it? Everything's certainly been strange lately. I think I'll ask Rylan about that man in the forest. Might as well, right? Yeah. Maybe Rylan would know more about that man I saw yesterday. Assuming it wasn't Rylan in the first place. It wasn't. They looked different. Oh? You got a good look at him? Well, no. It couldn't have been Rylan. Hey, Owen, hello! Hello, 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 hello! Hey! Welcome, welcome! We're playing this really cool visual novel. Look, I customized this character. I actually customized it. I'm so excited about the fact of being able to play a visual novel where I can actually make my own character. I'm sorry. It's just pretty cool. Anyways, couldn't have been Rylan. I'll be gone then. Get your work done, Alenka. So, for those of you who have just come in, Trav, Owen, basically, the plot so far is we live on this kind of secluded island with our Aunt Vanya. We were orphaned as a child. And one of these pirates that we know traded us for spice. So, basically, we gave them some of our foraging items, and they gave us some spice. And we accidentally drank some. And apparently, like, we're starting to act a little weird, and there's also some weird guy who's been stalking us, too. So, there's a lot going on at the moment. And we just started. We literally just started, and all that has happened already. This is probably going to be a wild ride. I'll be gone then. Get your work done, Alenka. You're leaving? Yeah? Not much choice. Starving is the worst kind of death. Don't be sorry for being a huge nerd. It's in your name. True. Very true. She left promptly, gone before I was even fully awake. I stared after her for a few moments as I realized I need to go back into the forest myself. She was right. Starving is the worst kind of death. And if you don't forage today, you don't eat tomorrow. Besides, I would be lying if I said I wasn't a little curious. The woods seem cold and unfamiliar. All sorts of wrong. Actually, we should probably check and see what my stats are at the moment, because we haven't looked. Okay, so far we have some vice going on here. Our curiosity seems to have gone higher. So is our tenacity. And so is our charm, I think. I think it's a little higher than it was before. I think. Possibly. Anyways, close. The woods seem cold and unfamiliar. All sorts of wrong. I don't know, drowning hurts a lot too. You know what? You have a fair point. I couldn't explain why it felt this way. Birds made their noises and I hadn't seen anything unusual. I was certain it wasn't very cold, but still a chill stuck to my bones. Hug chat. Hey, Azure! Hello! Hello, 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 Azure! Hello! Hello! Thank you for the big hug! We're playing a visual novel at the moment, Azure, and one that seems really good so far. I actually customized my character! I customized this. It's so exciting. We also have traits and stuff and lore to explore and all sorts. It's so cool. And so here's kind of the plot so far. So we live on this kind of secluded island, and some pirates visited, and we traded some of our foraging for some spice, and we accidentally drank some of it. And now some weird stuff is going on. Some guy has been stalking us, and we're kind of out in the forest trying to see if we can find him. And we don't really know what's going on, but I have a feeling something's about to happen. So you've come at just the right time, Azure, for possibly something big happening. But yeah, this game's pretty cool. Also, look, depending on your choices, you actually get, oh my gosh. You actually get stats, which is pretty cool. Our highest stat is charm at the moment, but that's because I selected charm as my higher disposition. But anyways, yeah, we drank some spice, and things are probably not going to go so well. Each step forward I took, I regretted. I considered time and time again turning back, yet I continued forward. I was already trapped. Already in the throes of fate. Oh, who's this guy? Hello. What voice should we give him? Where is it? And then the source of my unease finally revealed itself to me. The stranger waited only a moment before repeating his question. You are very charming, so that makes sense. Yeah, that's why I picked it, was because I've had people tell me that I kind of have a air of someone who's easily to get along with. So I was like, if we are basing this person to look like me and act like me, then might as well. Huh. There's an error connecting to the server between I don't know why I find that so funny. Like, the love is just like, you can't even connect to it. Like, there was an error connecting to the server to figure out how much love is between Lulu and Azure. We'll never know then. Oh dear, our love broke it. Oh boy. There's too much love, the bot can't handle it. Oh boy. Where is the Continental? Continental? I have no idea, I don't know what that is. I couldn't do anything more than stare. Who? Where is it? The man, was it a man? Stepped forward with his hand outstretched as though making to grab for me. No, he definitely wasn't human. He didn't move like a human would. He also has pointy ears. Look at these pointy ears. Heck yeah. Well, running is probably not going to do us any good. And neither is attacking. Let's just talk to him. Let's try and speak our way out of this. I steeled myself and forced out some words. Be diplomatic. There's no reason we can't both leave from here peacefully. Peacefully? You said it as though we had two different ideas of what the word meant. I doubt this can end peacefully for you, human. Well, I'm willing to try if you are. The legacy of my people is not one of peace. That you're still breathing ought to spring all sorts of questions and worries in your mind. Or do you already know why I'm here? I don't know why you're here at all. Do you know what I am? What do you mean? As in not human. That you thought your kind to be alone. You're the stranger, you're an elf. I don't know. I'm just gonna say the obvious thing. You're the stranger who's been following me. I think. Wait, actually, let's save. Because it looks like I got another answer because my stats are high enough in some area. Because this got unlocked. Apparently, normally, I couldn't say this. But I don't really want to say that. I don't really know this person. An elf, maybe they'll find that, like, bad to say. Like, maybe elf in this universe is, like, a cuss word. I'm just gonna say, I'm vampire. I'm just gonna say you're the stranger who's been following me. Why have you been following me? For how long? Since you got the Continental. I don't know what your Continental is. So you say. Does that mean you're a sailor? Sailor? No. You think I'm one of the pirates? I appear to have offended him. Oh no. I don't know what a Continental is, bro. I wasn't sure how much longer his patience would hold, but I didn't think it would last much longer, calling it by another name. A small black pouch, decorated in ancient Gahalian glyphs, containing a precious marrow. If it was an elf, why is it not on the shelf? Oh boy. A pouch. Oh, new codex. New codex. Some place, I'm guessing? Yes. Gahalia. Though a young and remote is well known to most of the Great Pillar Ocean, the Elven Kingdom is famed for its warriors, who utilize their long lives to hone great skill and mastery over their weapons and warfare. Their island is small, cold, and perpetually rainy, plagued by carnivorous beings covered in barren rock. Known to be treacherous, their loyalty is sold to those seeking their sword in battle. These alliances rarely last long, mercenary as these arrangements are in nature. Given the size and state of their land, most of their food and necessities are imported or seized from battle. Their trade operations, though vital, are run by a few, as culturally the proud Gahalian elves strive to be warriors and not traders. Though there were elves alive in 704V, the year Gallia was founded, who are still alive today in 1031V, not much is known of their history before settling Gallia. They have only fragmented records that often tell conflicting tales, and the memories, the voices of those who should have known, are silent. Okay. So they are called elves. Never mind. I was gonna make that same joke, great minds think alike, heck yeah. A pouch? The spice I got from Ryland was in a pouch that looked a lot like what he described, now that I knew what Gallian glyphs looked like. But not that I knew what Gallian glyphs looked like, but if I had to take a guess, the pouch of spice from the pirate? Are you talking about the spice Ryland gave to me? Spice? Oh, you didn't really think. Where is it? I don't understand. I'll make it simple, human. All I want is the Kunthatal. I'm running out of time. And so are you. The Kunthatal belongs to me. You have no means to challenge this, and you have no right to. So your options, lucky as you are to even have them, give me the Kunthatal or die. Wait, but we drank it. Wait, but we might not have drunk it all. Maybe we can just give him whatever's left. Because Vanya did say she gave us some of that spice, so maybe she didn't give us all of it. Actually, let's save again. Time to save, return. And what makes it yours? That means it belongs to you? The Kunthatal belongs to Gahalians. You are not a Gahalian. I am. It is simple. You're Gahalian? Yes. And the Kunthatal is mine. Now give me the Kunthatal or show me where you've hid it. I knew little of Gahalians and nothing helpful. I'd already deduced this man was far more dangerous than anyone else I knew, and I was out of options. Fine, but it isn't with me. Waving his arm, he seemed to be directing me toward home. Was he serious? I'm gonna shake my head. No, dude. In response, he reached forward and grabbed my arm. Despite my struggling, I was dragged along. He evidently knew the way. Oh well, I guess we're here. I waited outside while the elf went into the hut. I briefly entertained the idea of running, but along the way I had noticed the elf's head turned just slightly from noise to noise. Every bird that chirped, every branch that broke, he observed. I also noticed that as we walked, while my feet crunched and cracked whatever was underfoot, the ground beneath his feet was nearly silent. If I were to try running away, I don't think I'd get very far. I'd never been in a situation like this. I'd heard about the way people are outside the village. I'd heard that they were cruel and forceful, irreverent, violent. I'd heard they steal and hurt on a whim. Life was not forgiving here, nor was Vanya. But this was a different feeling. I'd never experienced it, and I'd never met anyone who wasn't human before. Yet here, the first one I meet is now plundering my home for something he claims to belong to him. And how did he get here unseen? Perhaps he had stowed away with the pirates? A stowaway? A large elf among the Lalari pirates? Even I knew that the Lalari were known for being bigots. Oh, new codex. Lalari. Took a while. They kept talking about the Lalari, and I was like, I have no idea who they are. Whoa. The Lalari Empire was founded in 201V and is one of the oldest surviving nations on Solaire. The monarchy of Lilari controls a vast expanse of land, ever increased by aggressive conquest, stretching from the southern Navahil deserts to the heights of the Broken Basins. Lilari is known for luxurious trade and an exceptionally bloody court. The poor Lilari have few personal rights and suffer a great disparity between themselves and the rich, with widespread disease and starvation in certain colonies contrasting the opulence of the rich and noble. Big oof. It is common practice for the young, impoverished men to enlist in the Lilarian armies. The armies accept nearly any citizen and can secure warmth and a full belly. Because the armies boast such huge numbers, the tactics of the insatiable king rely heavily on an overwhelming presence. Though loyalties are sworn foremost to the king, it has been common historically for dissenting dukes to split a section of the armies in civil war. Lilari carries an intimidating reputation among neighboring civilizations. Though you will not find many wishing they were born in Lilari, it is a powerful nation capable of taking what it wants, and it has historically taken much. Those unfortunate enough to be in the Lilari conquest path have typically evacuated, heavily demoralized by any recent failures of efforts to stand against Lilarian armies. Solely human in population, Lilari is known to be racist and hostile towards outside species. In many colonies, the revelation that a person is non-human would warrant immediate execution. Dang. So, racist colonizers, good to know. There was a pounding in my ear. The impulse to act was increasing with each beat of my heart. I realized that this might have been my last chance to escape my fortune. I don't think that's gonna work. Let's look inside the hut. Boistering my nerve, I crept toward the hut, intent on peeking inside the opening. I knew better than to think I'd be able to come up on the elf unnoticed, but still I stepped lightly. When I peered inside, I found an elf staring back at me. It was half expected, but still unnerving. Human. Did you find what you were looking for? He seemed angry, growing increasingly irritated by the second. Is there a problem? His glare grew harsher still. I noticed that he had found the pouch of spice, yet he didn't seem pleased. He stepped closer till he and I were standing on either side of the hut's threshold. The tension grew as his gaze bore into me, searching for something. Stand your ground, stumble back, carefully increase the distance. I'm gonna stand my ground. I'm not letting this guy bully me. I felt my body grow defiant and stiff. I forced myself to maintain eye contact with the elf. Are you going to tell me what the problem is? The Kuntatal is empty. I watched as he turned the pouch inside out and shook it in a frustrated display. That would mean Vanya used it all. I haven't even begun to think of the implications behind eating some of what this elf was after. A part of me had been hoping Vanya hadn't actually put the spice Kuntatal in my drink. What have you done with it? The elf's demand was intense and violent. I stared back in horror. How was I going to explain that I'd eaten? Answer. I watched as the elf dropped the pouch into a pocket in his coat, only to then notice he had simultaneously drawn a small dagger from his hip. Dang. Get away from my girl! Oh, Vanya's come to save the day! Heck yeah! I was surprised by my aunt, but the elf's gaze remained focused on me. The old woman. What's going on? You two have done something with the Kuntutal. Is that the name of the spice that was in that pouch? It is not spice. It is a precious, rare, sacred marrow, and it belongs to my people. Well, it's gone. I love Vanya. I changed my mind. Vanya is the best character so far. I love her. The elf's temper boiled over. His pale face grew slightly red, hot with frustration. I had the sense to take a step back. But the elf grabbed me and held the dagger to my throat. Gone? Gone? Where? You drank someone's bones? Apparently. Dang. See, this is why I'm Vanya. I know, right? Vanya, I hope you don't die, because you're best character so far. But yeah, it seems I drank someone's bones, Leo. That's pretty messed up. I tried to think clearly. If I was clever. She drank it. Drank it? Vanya! I told you. You thought it was spice. I clamped my eyes shut, prepared for the worst. But nothing happened. The elf had taken a step back from me and was staring at me in a curious way. Well, that's it then. What's going on? Spicy bones. That's a spicy bone. Oh. I don't know why I find that so funny. It's a spicy bone. Oh boy. Oh, that's it then. Yes, I suppose so. What? Though she hit it well, I could tell that Vanya was surprised that the elf had agreed. So much for history and its offerings. I couldn't believe the elf was so easily satisfied. He'd been so obsessed with the Kunthatal, and to find out it was gone that I drank it, and then to be... We're leaving. We? Wrong voice. You're not taking the girl anywhere. Oh, I am. She drank the Kunthatal. The Kunthatal belongs to us. She belongs to us. What asinine logic. If you didn't want the spicy, and you should have kept it closer to home. It was not... He waved his hand. You don't have a choice in this. If you didn't want to be subject to the demands of your betters, you would have made yourself stronger. Or perhaps you would have avoided fumbling into history that doesn't belong to you. But how do you even know we told the truth? You're ready to just abandon? I think it makes as much sense as anything in this deplorable village. You didn't smuggle it anywhere. I would have seen. I searched that hut of yours through and through. You! Don't get in my way. I could tell Vanya wasn't going to back down easily. She seemed calm, but I knew her better than that. I also knew that my aunt was unlikely to achieve anything beyond getting herself hurt. I mean, there's nothing we can really do. I can't say I'm not coming. I'm gonna beg her to do something. She can't do anything. So I'm just gonna say, it's alright, Vanya. I guess I'm doing this now. Vanya, it's alright. The elf wants to drag you off to his cave. I'll be alright. We need to go. Now. Alright, elf. I'll go with you. I know. He wasted no time leading me away. Walking through the forest with the elf at my heel felt like a death march. He hadn't said a word since we began walking. I didn't choose to break the silence myself either. The elf followed from a slight distance, only stepping forward to nudge me in a different direction every now and then. I could tell that we weren't headed into the village, but that we were headed toward the coast. I do wonder, where exactly is Gahalia? I don't really want to bring up the scars. We're already... And staying silent is boring. So, where is Gahalia? East of here. Gahalia is an island. An island? Does that mean you came here by ship? You'll see soon enough. This way. This time, instead of nudging me in a new direction, the elf had moved through the trees and called behind for me to follow. I stopped walking and stared at where the elf had disappeared to. I sent a look over my shoulder and began to consider... What was that? There was a strange noise nearby, and then, for only a moment, I saw the shape of another figure darting through the trees. Were there... more? Human. The fear that whoever else was out there might be worse than the elf I already had pushed me forward. Elf? He didn't answer, but he was moving fast and I was losing sight of him. Where are we going? To the Bastion. It looks like we made it just in time after all. What is the Bastion? Well, we're about to find out because apparently it's in the Codex. Where is it? Oh, the Bastion. A proud vessel of the Gahalian Navy, the Bastion is a mere 26 years old and the first of its kind wrought in Wereda wood. General Phalian's fleet, as in the number of his legion, has always been the smallest. The Bastion and uncharacteristically large ships for the fleet's typically more subtle maneuvers. The success of the Bastion brought about the commission of other mimicking vessels, many of which significantly larger and better armed, but the Bastion has remained well-maintained and active, a rare instance of a Gahalian pathfinder holding on to its relevance and reverence. What is the Bastion? Well, we just figured that out. A ship. And you expect me to be on that ship? You will be on that ship. You have to give me more information. What? You can't... Please. You can't just abduct me without telling me anything. Where I'm going, why, to who, for how long? He glanced at me, hesitating for only a moment. Strangely, it seems I can't just abduct you without telling you anything. Wow! This guy! Wow! But you have to tell me something. I don't have to tell you anything, human. This is your fault, you realize. What? What? And how? I think you'll find that he can abduct you like that very easily. Abductions typically don't come with exposition. You know what, Ralph? You are right. You are right, Ralph. You have a point there. Also, hi, Ralph. Hello. Welcome to the stream. Hello. We just drank some spicy bones. And now we're getting abducted by this elf because we drank that spicy bones. It's pretty great. I just love the spicy bones. I'm so glad that Leo brought that up. And how you drank the kuntatal. I tried to piece together what little information I had. I tried to remember any time anyone had ever referenced Gallia in the past. I couldn't remember anything. When the coast appeared, I immediately spotted the ship. It wasn't the Serpentine, which I had once thought to be the largest ship in the world. Oh, thank you, Leo, for the biddies. Cheers for spicy bones. Heck yeah. I love it. Thank you. Thank you for the biddies. This is what you get for consuming nondescript spicy bones. I want this to become a new meme on my channel, the spicy bones. Oh, that honestly seems like it would be also a good name for a band. Like a band called the Spicy Bones. I would be a part of that band. Indeed, the ship was somehow much larger. On the beach not far from us, there were dozens of elves just as pale, sullen-faced, and dark-clad as the one who found me. Huh, you and I made good time. I thought we were going to be late. The elf sounded pleased, in a very bored sort of way. Stay put, you'll board shortly. Weave a basket or have some children or whatever it is you humans do. What the frick? I really don't like this guy. So far, like, all the men I've met in this game have been terrible so far. And that's not boding too well for our prospects of actually dating in this game. Because we can, though we could also choose not to. It says that the romance is a possibility, but not, like, something that has to be done. And so far, it seems like I'm not going to romance anyone, because I don't really want to. So far, every guy we've met has been like, only the spiciest of bones are allowed to pass Anya's lips. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. I watched the elves for a little while, but the longer I did, the more surreal it all became. I love this image here. Look at this. This is such a pretty image. I love it. I love the art style in this game, honestly. I tried to imagine where we were in relation to my village. How far north we must have been so that no one would have seen the elves' massive ship. Surely someone in the village must have seen one of these elves. And what were they doing here? The elves were everywhere, an infestation that had gone completely unnoticed. I was sitting on the beach somewhere north of the village I'd lived in my whole life, but I was surrounded by strange beings, and they were threatening to take me away to their strange land. What's more, I felt utterly exhausted. My mind had been running, my heart racing. No, I was beyond mere exhaustion now. I would have thought to feel restless and jumpy, keenly aware, but that wasn't the case. A thought kept clouding my mind. The marrow I consumed. I didn't feel sick, only weary. But if all the elves were here for the thing I drank, what could that mean? Had I poisoned myself? As the sun set, my worries began to fade. Though it lasted for only a few moments between the strange weariness and the rosy sky, I felt comforted, pacified. The last comfort before the slaughter. The last pulse of warmth before the freeze. Human. It's Alenka. We're leaving. Perhaps the calm I felt scrounged up a desire for dignity, because I realized I wanted to call my captor by his name. She looks like a mermaid here. You're right, she does. She does look like a mermaid, and we have like the rock here that kind of looks like a rock that Ariel stood in part of your world, or whatever. Sorry, that was really bad. I wouldn't be abducted and tormented by a man whose name I didn't even know. What is your name? Why do you want to know? Are you hoping to be friends? I would like to know the name of the elf who brought me here. Lasega Darhul, first scout of the Gahalian forces. I was a little surprised he told me his name, and in a bizarre way I was surprised he even had one. This all felt a bit too much like a dream. Also, codex entry. Also, we haven't looked at our stats in a while. Okay, so we have some vice going on. We have some doubt going on too. But our curiosity, charm, and tenacity, and daring and charity are both getting higher. And so is desire too. And amity. So some things are starting to get a little bit higher than they were before because of our choices. We'll have to see how things turn out. Also, wait, we can change clothes? I didn't even notice that. There's outfits you can unlock in this game? Ho, 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 ho. You can unlock outfits in this game. That's freaking cool. Also, there's money, too. I can buy outfits. That is rad. Anyways. Lasega Darhul. Oh, wait. Look, there's a heart at the corner here. I'm guessing this is one of the people we can romance in this game, then. Because I don't think... Yeah, Rylan and Vanya don't have the heart. So, Lasega is one of the people we can romance. Were one to ask after Lasega among his superiors and peers, they would likely have nothing remarkable to say, unless they were to find his particular demeanor insulting, or happen to have great admiration for skill with a bow. Lasega has had a few minorly impressive moments in his military career, but nothing which sent ripples through the forces. Just enough prestige to get him saddled with a scouting partner like Vadian Millerose. Lasega seems unbothered by his slow advancement. Oh, Shelly, thank you for the raid. Thank you, Shelly, for the raid. Hello, welcome, raiders. Hello, Celty. Hello, Shelly. Hello, y'all. Welcome, raiders. We're playing a visual novel called Ebon Light. So far, it looks really cool, and it has a lot of really cool aspects. Just to kind of get you guys up to speed on what's going on here. Basically, we're this girl. Her name's Alenka. Let me show you her picture. Here she is. I customized her, by the way, which is pretty cool. And look, we also have stats that, depending on our choices, go up and down. We can also change clothes. We have an inventory system. 0 trin, which is money. Like, this is actually, like, a really, like, detailed visual novel. But basically, to get you guys up to speed, we lived on this island for most of our life. That's kind of a secluded island. And then one day, when pirates came to trade with us, they gave us like this weird spice, and we accidentally drank it. And then this elf came named Lasega, who was like, by the way, you just drank bone marrow that is like important to us or whatever. So it turns out we drank some spicy bones. And now he's taking us to the elvish land of Gahalia because we drank those spicy bones. And that's kind of where we're at right now. Also, hey, Cud, bone juice lore. Absolutely. Cursed bone juice. Yes. The spicy bones and bone juice. But yeah, hey, Cud, hello, Celty, hello, Shelly, I love all y'all, thank you guys for joining. Hope you have a great stream, Anya, I'm off to make dinner, lots of love, everyone, have a great night. Okay, Shelly, have a good dinner, see y'all later. Enjoy your dinner, as Lulu said, love ya, bye. But yeah, anyways, let's see, let me close this. Oh, wait, no, I hadn't finished reading on Lysega, though. Gotta go back to people. Apparently, Lysega is one of the people we can romance, too. Lysega seems unbothered. Oh, shoot. Lysega seems unbothered by his slow advancement, although this, too, is a calculation. For all intents and purposes, Lysega is an ideal soldier. He relies on intimidation and aggression to get his way. Unconcerned with little beyond serving the forces and living a quiet life, he does have a few curious connections with the Onyx Chandler, and some might say he keeps himself too closed off from his peers, but no one is concerned about Lysega, and that suits him just fine. Heck yeah. I was a little surprised he told me his name, and in a bizarre way I was surprised he even had one. This all felt a bit too much like a dream. Onyx Chandler being... Oh my gosh. Get moving, human. Move quickly. My name is Alenka. I'm not the one who asked for introductions. Wondering who will remember you? Then let's go. We definitely will not be friends. Oh, then if we call each other whatever we please, I'll call you Lacey. Heck yeah, that'll be so much easier for me to say anyway. I'll call you Lacey. Fine then. Lacey. It's... Excuse me? Get wrecked, dude. I've always liked lace. I've only seen it twice before. The shepherd's wife had a lace skirt. It's so pretty and delicate. Do you have any idea how easily I could kill you? He's so mad. He's so mad at the fact that I'm calling him lazy. He's like, don't you realize that I could kill you right now? And I'm just like, haha, lazy. So you keep saying, ooh, this is pretty. Look, I love that it's moving too. Oh, it's so pretty. 0 to 100. What's going on? Oh, I might as well have been walking into another world. Aboard the Gahalian ship, I got a few odd looks from the elves. They were all as pale as Lacey. I love that we're calling him Lacey now. All wore dark armor, and they all seemed to have dark hair. Their looks never lingered. For whatever anomaly I was, I must not have been that remarkable. They moved with purpose, diligent, efficient, unwilling to be distracted. Lacey, I hope that we just call him Lacey for the rest of the game. Like, I hope that if I didn't pick that choice, we would have just called him by his regular name or something, right? But because I picked that choice, now for the rest of the game, his name is just gonna be Lacey. I'm really hoping. Like, I'm like, please tell me that's the fact. I really hope that's a truth about this. Lacey had followed me onto the deck, staying behind me at an increasing distance. I even lost sight of him in between the crowds on occasion, but I suppose he wasn't concerned. Where was I gonna go? I tried to move out of the elves' way as best I could, but I still seemed to be making something of an obstruction. So I tried to stand still. The elves moved around me. There you are, what voice should I give her? There you are, Lysega. She's pretty attractive. Not gonna lie. I heard the name of my escort and looked to the woman who spoke it. She was marching toward me. I'm back. Welcome back, Rick. We're now captured by some elves. We've been kidnapped by some elves because we drank some bone juice. That's basically the lore right now, Rick. Commander. I hadn't realized Lacey had caught up to me until I heard the voice over my shoulder. Anya going for the poly ending confirmed. Can you date her since all the dudes are terrible? That's what I'm hoping. Jeebus. So far, your little side venture successful, I take it? If not. She gave me a long, curious look. I love her so far. Then I'll demand a smuggling fee. There are proper channels if you really insist on taking your lover to what the frig? Never mind. Give me some bone juice. She is what Dulier wants. He's always been a bit of an odd one, hasn't he? Alright, why not? Welcome to the Bastion, human. It seemed I ought to get used to being called human. I'm Commander Kelly Poa Millerose. We heard Millerose before. When we were reading Lacey's description, they mentioned another Millerose. I wonder if they're related. Welcome back, Rick, and sure, you can get some spicy bones. I love bones and decks. The art in this game is a little something. I actually really like the art. I think it's different. And I kind of like that. I like the fact that it kind of has like this watercolor aesthetic and it kind of looks a little different. Like it's not like every single visual novel. I feel like every single visual novel tends to have kind of this anime style to it and it gets kind of boring after a while. So it's kind of cool to have like this, a little bit of a different art style to it. I kind of like it. Cud, you're a little cutie. Hey, Cud is a cutie. Cud is the cutest cutie. Oh, snap. Oh boy. Well, if it turns out I can't romance her, then we might just end up like, if it turns out that nobody that I can romance is interesting enough, we might just go down the no romance route. Because the game, I think, suggested that you don't have to romance anyone. So if it turns out every single person is like not great, where I don't care, then I'll just be like, we'll just move on without romance. I'm Commander Kelly Poa Millerose. Commander, does that mean you're in charge of all this? Oh, codex entry. Hello. Calipoa. No, we can't romance her. The heart's not down here. Dang, sucks. Dang, sucks. Calipoa Milrose is a newly appointed commander in the 1st Division of the Forces, under the rule of her uncle, General Phalian. To say that her ascension was at all due to familial favoritism would be a grave mistake. There have been few who've mastered a sword as fast as she, and fewer still who couple this skill with drive and persistence. Calipoa is the only daughter of Reclean and Awil Milrose. Awil the second eldest princess of the reigning Leorian king and queen. The Reclean, the second eldest son of Gauloils and Mietwin Millerose. Although one's pedigree often means little in Gahalia, she is undeniably a pride to her family, and given the status of her family, a pride to all of Gahalia. But those who know her personally have remarked in hushed tones she is not always so laudable. Well, first game of the year. Everyone is the cutest. Heck yeah. You are all cuties. Everyone in chat is a cutie. F, how can I be the cutest when sushi exists? Everyone here is the cutest. Every single person. I love all y'all. That sucks. But oh well. We'll see. Maybe there'll be one person we can date who's okay. Oh, thank you, Rick. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Cured and sushi doubtful. Hey, Sibbies. Hey. Welcome to the stream. Hello. Hello. Hi. To kind of get you up to date, we're playing a visual novel, and basically we're this girl. We've been kidnapped by some elves, and we drank some bone juice, and that's why they kidnapped us, because they were like, that bone juice is ours, so now that you drank it, you're ours, and that's kind of what happens. No, CBs, you're cute. We're all cute. I love all y'all. Commander, does that mean you're in charge of all this? The gigantic ship, the masses of black-clad elves, a mysterious agenda somehow involving me? Oh no, no. I'm in charge of part of this. I'm also in charge of him. She motions at Lacey, sounding ever so slightly smug. This is so much hate, this chat. This is some Twilight crap. It's so cute. Oh my gosh. I admire Anya's optimism about finding a single romantic interest that isn't terrible in an otome game. I know, right? Cud, you're a part of this chat. Everyone is cute. Sushi has adorable catchphrases that I adore. That is true. I felt a surge of optimism. Then fix this and you can let me go. Are you all like him? He's a talented stalker. I kind of want to say this one. I'm gonna say it. They allow me to give him a commendation. Oh? Your Lacey has been stalking me in near complete silence for days. Near? She never saw me. Well, actually, I did. Once. But nevertheless, it was very impressive. You saw Riley pass the Kuntatal to me. You followed me home. You probably watched me sleep. I never watched you sleep. He's a talented stalker. I love it. Last one, yep. The gamer word. It's still not working. How could this happen? Big oof. I never watched you sleep. Oh, good. It was still very impressive. I don't envy you, you know. I've never known anyone to willingly spend time with him. Dang! Throwing him under the bus. I love Calipoa. So far, all the female characters in this game have been great, and all the male characters have been absolute garbage. But a word of advice, if the Onyx Chandler wants you in his clutches, he'll find a way to have you. If you're clever, you'll figure out how to keep him from wanting you. She sighed, seeming to struggle with something. I watched you sleep, random lady in the game. I really am busy, despite appearances. Let me think, what can I... Perfect. Vadian. The commander seized the attention of another elf, who immediately stopped what he was doing and walked toward us. He sent a look at the commander, then his gaze fell on me. Oh, who's this guy? I don't know what voice to give him. Who's this? A human. Ah, yes. Ugh. I don't have enough voices for this giant cast. No. Yes, Commander, I noticed, but... She's for Onyx Chandler, and no, I don't know what he wants from her. My love for y'all will overload all servers. It's true. So much love that the server overloaded. Too real. It's okay, Anya, I'm the same. For real. I began to notice tension between the new elf and Lacey. They stared at each other in silence for a few long seconds. That was when I realized that the ship had begun to move. It was the strangest sensation, and it threw my balance just enough that I had to crouch down to steady myself. Are you alright? Ah, and there he goes. Far too easy. Come with me, Lasega. You have some things to explain. Oh, new codex. Who's this new man? Who is this new man? Who is he? Oh, another love interest. The loveliest bloom comes from a barren garden, but so unaware of itself, so surrounded by prickles and weeds, it will either think itself no better or think itself hopelessly lost. The mystery of how Vadian managed to cultivate such a soft heart and such an unforgiving atmosphere, no less how it has managed to remain uncrushed in the 6 decades Vadian has been alive, piques the interest and ire of many. He is, they will say, surely destined for tragedy, eventually to be consumed or snuffed out by the pressure. To his fortune, Vadian has no interest in complete surrender just yet. His is a quiet, perhaps ridiculous optimism, which nets him a few allies and many enemies. He has become self-sufficient, prone to dreaming, and forced on occasion to become uncomfortably bold. He seems like a pretty cool dude. Maybe if, like, I have to go down a route, maybe I'll pick him. He seems kind of nice. Like, 2 characters in How to Have a Boyfriend with just a slight variation of the same voice. Heck yeah. Calipo and Lacey left immediately, leaving me with the new elf. He held out his hand, offering it to help me with my balance. Sure, thanks, dude. I hesitated and then I reached out to take his hand. He held my hand tight, helping me steady myself. All of these elves are deceptively strong, it seemed. I'm happy to give Edgeworth the pompous voice I gave for the villain in Holiday Star. Heck yeah, Edgeworth's gonna be pompous, but how are you gonna do Von Karma? Yeah, that is true. After I stood again and regained my balance, he let my hand go. First time on a ship? Yeah. Wasn't that obvious? Was it common to have spent time on a ship? No one I knew had ever been on a ship. Not one like this. There have been a lot of new things happening to me lately. Thank you. I'm gonna save. I'm gonna say there's been a lot of new things happening to me lately. I don't know if finding myself aboard a ship like this is any stranger than meeting hordes of Moony elves. Moony? Oh, shoot. I don't like that. I don't like what she said there. Reloading. Okay, I'm just gonna say thank you. Thank you. That should be obvious. Gonna be a Russian vampire. Oh my gosh. Thank you. I must have sounded hesitant because he looked even more concerned. Are you alright? You already asked me that. Well, you could say it's not often that confused-looking humans wash up on deck. I was tempted to ask why it didn't happen often. Lacey and the commander seemed to behave like it was normal enough. If you don't mind, how did you end up? He seems nice enough. I'm gonna tell him. Lacey tracked me down for the Onyx Chandler. Evidently, I drank something that he thinks is his property, and thus, I am now his property myself. You... what? You... what? That's ridiculous. Galleons don't take possession of people. That's slavery. What does he think he's doing? He can't just afford himself exceptions. I like this guy. It's official. This guy actually has good morality. Wow, this is the bar right now. Being against slavery, the bar has never been lower in my life. Anyways. I watched the elf as he jumped from one outrage to the next, but it only lasted a moment before he regained his composure. Are you hurt? Did he hurt you? Did he force you to come aboard? He can't force you to come aboard. Juliet has no official standing, no status, no command. Yeah, he made me. Yep. He said I had no choice, and didn't feel like he was lying. I'm so sorry. Thanks, dude. Yeah, so far he's like the best guy we've met this entire game. The elf was apologizing. I was suspicious, a little caught off guard. The Sega isn't something I'd wish on my worst enemy. He thinks that if someone is defenseless, they're simply at the mercy of people who are stronger, so he pushes people who can't stop him. I'm gonna say he's wrong. I don't believe in that. He's wrong. Men like that usually find themselves surprised when a very weak person buries a knife in their heart. Do you think so? Is that how it works where you're from? Well, no. Not really. Oh, I'll definitely need to be there for that. Oh, boy. My name is Vadian Milrose. What's your name? Alenka. This guy has so far been one of the better characters. Hadn't I heard Milrose before? Yep, we have. Well, truth be told, retaining names was currently a low priority. But I think that was the commander's surname as well. Were they related? Well met, Alenka. I'll show you to a hammock if you like. It's very crowded, but at least you'll only be among women. Commander Calipoa? Will Calipoa be there? No, she enjoys the spoils of command now. For a second I thought he was going to roll his eyes. I just don't think I'd be able to keep it up consistently. I mean, hear my voices. They're not very consistent. But Liste might. She's also my cousin. Also? Oh yes, Calipoa is my cousin. Knew it. He showed me to the ship's hull and gave me simple directions to finding a row of hammocks. The ship's innards weren't anything like I'd imagined. It was so dark and almost impossible to see anything. Whoa, this is really dark. 10 is still a lot if you ask me. Yeah. You can find it now, can't you? I really shouldn't go any further, privacy and all. If you need anything, I have to get back to duty, but truly... Can you tell me more about Gahalia? Can you tell me more about Gahalia, your people? I have no idea where I'm going. I can tell you that Gahalia is a dark place, and that we don't welcome outsiders. I'm afraid things will be very difficult for you. That's not... Can you tell me something a bit more specific? Gahalia is a small island. We live in one primary city with a very dense population, completely encircled in a fortress wall. We're known for our forces, an army that enlists more than 2/3 of our population. We are essentially mercenaries, though be mindful who you repeat that to. Most Gallians don't appreciate the term. Noted. I wish I could think of how to prepare you. Tell me more about yourself? Well, tell me more about yourself then. Me, well, I'm a scout in the forces, 1st Division. Is that like what Lacey is? Well, exactly what Lasega is. Do you know the commander? The commander? Oh yes, she and I are cousins. We are born within weeks of each other. We're close. You'll find a lot of my family speckled across the chain of command. Does that mean you're important? Oh no, not at all. This is foreboding. It's so dark in here and so... Gahalian decorating. Oh boy. I believe we see better in the dark than your people do. You must. It's all just a haze. Perhaps your eyes will adjust. More than my eyes are going to need to adjust. Lacey? You knew Lacey was involved with my arrival? I saw the two of you arrive, yes. You don't need to worry so much. He kept his distance. It's really alright. I came away from the experience unscathed. Good. I guess I don't need anything. I understand. Take care. Left alone for the first time since morning, I stared down the narrow pathway before me. Well, what I could see of it. It seemed far less busy down here, but occasionally I'd feel the movements of others around me. I eventually found the chamber Vadian had told me about. So far, Vadian's like the only man I could see myself romancing in this game. I was starting to see better. Perhaps my eyes had been adjusting after all. It didn't help that Gallian seemed intent on keeping everything in shades of black. Though it was early in the evening, all the hammocks I could see were filled. The sleeping elves were, as far as I can tell, all female. I scanned the hammocks for a while, searching for an empty one. It was difficult to tell from where I stood, but I thought I spotted one in the 3rd row. There was also an awake elf who'd been staring at me since I entered. Let's ask the elf. Pardon me. Whoa. The elf's brows flew up. She continued to stare, but she didn't say a word. I realized belatedly that this elf looked different from the others. Were it not for the ears, I'd have thought her human. Try again. Pardon me, my lady. The elf's silence continued. Try it once more. I'm sorry if I'm bothering you. I was told to come down here and find the hammocks. And so you have. Oh no, I don't like that voice. And so you have. You're finding this confusing? She spoke with a thick and unfamiliar accent. Oh, I should have done the southern accent again. And so we have fire sale, blah, blah. She spoke with a thick and unfamiliar accent. Her words a little awkward. I don't know which hammocks are spoken for. The elf sighs. Who told you to come down here? Vadian Milrose. Vadian Milrose. And you... Mark is much better at voices, though. He tends to have the same kind of voices, too. That is true. I can see why it's so easy to tell when it's a certain famous voice actor or actress. Yep. Voice acting is a real art, that's for sure. It is true. Then I suppose, alright, fine. You can sleep in any of the unoccupied hammocks. Follow. I felt a little relieved as I followed the elf past the first row of hammocks. We moved past the third, all the way into the back of the chamber. It's instinct on a ship to want to be near the exit. Further back you are, the longer it takes to get out. Looking at you, I think it's in everyone's best interest that you stay secluded. Why is that? And why is that? You're not Gahalian. Alright? You're not Gahalian and you're on a Gahalian warship. You really need further explanation? Not keen on taking any more abuse after the day I had. I kept quiet. Besides, the realization I was on a warship through my mind. If I had been thinking about it, of course that's what this was. All the elves were soldiers. The elf motioned at one of the empty hammocks and took her leave of me. When she was gone, I climbed into the hammock and tried to burrow into it as deep as I could. It was surreal. Like I was in the belly of a giant beast. I was left alone for the rest of the night. Those around me seemed to sleep soundly, as though theirs was a hard-earned slumber. I didn't seem to concern them. Come morning, I had gotten little sleep. I had spent the night lying still in my hammock, marveling at all the things I didn't know. I couldn't stop wondering about the Kunthatal and what it might do to me. The hopeful part of me had rendered the Kunthatal physically innocuous, if only because it had been a day and a half and I was still fine. But the other parts of me, the parts of me that also recognized my situation aboard a massive ship, destined for a place I had never been, filled with a people I've never seen, would remember that there must be a reason for all of this. There simply had to be a reason Lacey dragged me aboard, a reason he was sent to find the Kunthatal in the first place. If nothing else, I was tangled tight in a web I could barely understand. Around the time the elves who had been sleeping when I first arrived were waking up, laying still with only my wonderings had become too much to bear. I quietly snuck out of my hammock and made my way back into the hall. The hall was busier than it had been the evening prior. The majority of elves were moving in one specific direction, deeper into the ship's hold. The jumbled sounds of the elves speaking to each other hit me with a realization. Their language was not my own. It shouldn't have come as a surprise, but it did. Perhaps it was because the elves I'd spoken to so far all knew my language, but now that I was giving it some thought, that was very strange. I guess follow the majority of the elves deeper into the ship. I decided to follow the elves and see where they were all headed. The elves themselves didn't seem to notice my presence. I blended in seamlessly so long as I kept moving. We'd only walked a little deeper into the ship before a scent began to fill the air. Food. Even elves had to eat, it would seem. Well, no, duh. The smell was coming from a dark room lined with narrow tables. It was crammed full of noisy, hungry soldiers. Though it was difficult to pick out faces in a cramped hive of identically dressed elves, I spotted Commander Calipoa in the crowd. I began to approach her cautiously, eavesdropping on the conversation she was having with a small crowd of elves, not that I would actually understand what they were saying. Oh, it's the human. Did you get any sleep? I didn't manage to escape her notice long. I'm gonna say a little lie, anyway. Oh, I'm guessing it's this guy. Commander, this human. Ah, but the other Chandler would have to answer that. The Onyx. That's the one. She was that special request of his. The tone in the curious elf's voice suddenly went sour. He and the rest of the little crowd that had formed around Kalipoa began to disperse, though not before sending me glances as though I carried the plague. I'm gonna say sorry. Yeah, I didn't mean to. It's all right. I'd overproven my point in that discussion. You are causing a small commotion, though, aren't you? I am? It seems to me that I've been blending right in. Oh, we're not the gawking sort. We're the whispering sort. Rest assured, there have been plenty of interesting mentions of you all over the Bastion. If you're here to eat, help yourself. No one is going to stop you. I nodded, and so it seemed I wouldn't starve. Well, maybe not. I wasn't picky, and I had yet to see exactly what elves ate. Hopefully not. Well, it's not cannibalism if they're elves, is it? Chin up. Make yourself at home. You might find we grow on you. I think Vadian's around here somewhere. The commander took her leave after that. Not wanting to make a spectacle of myself, I followed the flow of elves around the room. Stay a while longer. I had to circle a second time before I spotted him. Vadian? He was sitting at one of the packed tables. The look on his face told me he was very surprised to see me. I watched him hesitate, then stand and make his way toward me. Then I watched an elf swoop like a vulture into his spot. Are you alright? Shouldn't have given up your seat. You're not getting that spot back anytime soon. He looked back at the spot he'd been sitting in and snorted. Lucky I was about done. I should have offered you. I don't know really what to say here, so I'm gonna save again. Heh. I'll find a place eventually. I'll find a place to sit. It's only a matter of beating all of these elves. You'd have better luck in a few hours. How have things been? How have things been? Relatively uneventful. I followed a small horde of elves here and saw the commander again. Callie? Yes, she was talking with some others, but one mention of the Onyx Chandler and everyone made space. I expect that'll happen a lot. Word has been spreading fast. Word? Is it bad? Bad things? Well, not exactly. Things. Explanations for why a human might be aboard. Most nowhere near the truth, near as I can tell. It's a good thing in a way. Everyone knows of you, most will stay clear of you, so no one should get in your way. Do you want to go up on deck, get away from the crowd? It might be easier to breathe. I looked around the crowded mess. It seemed to be even fuller than it had been when I first arrived. All right. So I followed Vadian through the ship's hallways, and the two of us went up to the ship's deck. I didn't even eat any food! No food for me, I guess. Not a single bit of food. The sky was bright compared to the ship's mess, not much less crowded, which I found a bit amazing. At least we're not packed in by a ceiling. He waved a hand toward the sun. Who is this person? Hello. Heron Millerose, another relative, it seems. How should I do this voice? Oh, wait, shoot. I did not mean to do that. You are a very strange woman. Lo and behold, another elf. Please, what? Who is this? Who is this? Who is this? Hello. Oh, look at that smirk! Heron is a master of capitalizing. He takes the hand he's dealt and makes the most of it, all the while seeming to thrive no matter what way he's forced to adapt. A critic might say it would be easy to roll with the punches when your lot in life is wealth-powered infamy, but Heron isn't concerned with justifying his existence. He sees the world in his own particular way and uses his means to achieve personal goals which other Gahalians perceive as frivolous or pointless. It's been considered that were Heron to ever set his sights on a larger ambition, He might be a force to be reckoned with, eerily capable of talking, buying, manipulating, bribing, and threatening his way in and out of all manner of things. Perhaps, thankfully, his concerns have always been personal and self-serving. Also, he's a love interest. I think I found who I'm gonna date. Everyone at this point knows I have a type, and this guy meets that type. Oh well, here we go. I picked it. This is mine now. Lo and behold, another elf that I'm probably going to go down the route for. He was not wearing either of the uniforms I had come to associate as scout or soldier. And though his curiosity was unnerving in context, he seemed less hostile than most of his kin. Oh, I've seen we found the trickster, yep. And that's my type, so there we go. That's it. I picked it. I'm not the only strange one. You're a little strange yourself, no? Why aren't you wearing one of the uniforms? You certainly take things in... I don't feel like that's enough of a different voice. You certainly take things in stride. An admirable quality. Not one I expected from a human. Why? Why not? Your people don't often rise to the occasion unless the issue is forced. Heron, what are you trying to achieve? And what do you think you know about my people or my issue? Don't you think anyone who cares to listen has heard their ears full about you by now? A human aboard isn't typical. And you're very interesting. Are you excited? Excited? What reason would I have to be excited? Lots of reasons, but I guess it's a matter of perspective. Enlighten me. Lots of reasons, such as... Has it struck you as odd that you've been given free reign of our warship? It should. Also, can I just say the pro-tags pose with crossed arms make me think of how people always draw raptor arms? Oh boy. Perhaps you've wondered why you're not in chains. We do have a thoroughly operational stockage of a sort. And Lesega's keeping his eyes on you, but you're not under full guard. And what should I take from that? No one knows what to expect of you, Madrilee. What is this word? Is this an actual word, or is this like an elvish weird word, just like all the other weird words that we've gotten from this game so far? Is it like my lady in elvish or something? Better not. Let me ask you something. Have you noticed anything odd? Sensory changes, noises, feelings. Madrilee means motherly. No, that seems weird. I mean, I don't see a reason to lie. I'm just gonna answer honestly. Why not? Let's go. I don't think so. I felt very odd, but that's to be expected, isn't it? Within reason. And anyway, I think the things I speak of you wouldn't hesitate to call odd. You look disappointed. What? No, just confused. It's entirely possible it was totally harmless. Who's this? Aaron Mill? What is with this whole entire family being, like, joining up on me? I don't know who this is, Heron. Oh, look at this guy. Aaron. You're not supposed to be here, Heron. Yet another elf approached. It prompted a sigh from the firs. Heron and Ernal, brothers, my cousins. How much of your family is aboard this ship? Too real. This is what you call inconspicuous? You couldn't at least try to blend in? Kelipoa gave me permission not to make an ass of yourself. Then the new elf seemed to have finally realized I existed. And he seemed confused? What? ... What? Who are you? What are you? You thought I was charming, Majuli. Just wait until you get to know Ernal. My brother has the grace of an elephant. That's actually a little funny. Why is this human aboard the Bastion, Heron? Evidently, the Onyx Chandler sent Lasega out after her. I'll have you know, I'm not thrilled about it either. Why? I'm sure he has a reason, not that he needs one. You already have the one human trophy. Dang. She's not human, she's half. That doesn't matter. What does Julia want with this human? I focused my attention on the first elf, Heron, who seemed to know something he wasn't telling. Unfortunately, his attention was focused on me in return. Both of us stayed silent, willing the other to speak first. This is so much Twilight. By the way, how many fucking Milleroses are there? Yeah, it's like all these people are freaking Milleroses. It's like so many Milleroses. This is Twilight. This is basically Twilight. Oh no, I would... This is so funny. For the love of heart, this is not the time or place. If neither of you care to explain, both of you need to get off deck. Especially you, Heron. He's a Millerose, she's a Millerose, I'm a Millerose. Are there any other Milleroses I should know about? She's not getting in the way of anything. She will. Alenka, you don't have to tell them anything. I mean, I don't see the point in lying about this. I drank the Kunthental. I inhaled a deep breath. I drank a spice Lacey oft referred to as a marrow. The Kunthental. I knew it. His palpable excitement did little to comfort me. He's so excited about this. I love it. So, what's going to happen to me? After consuming Kunthental, I'm surprised you're alive. Ernal. What? So it is poison. It is poison after all. Somehow in my gut I knew it to be true. Slurp the bone juice. No, calm down. The fact remains you are alive. What does that mean? That's the truly fascinating question. It's lost whatever potency it's had over the years. It never worked quite the way Juliet thought it did. Both possible, yes. But you hope for something else, of course. Of course, the potential is... Excuse me? The explanation? I'm trying to explain. The explanation is that this is so unusual and unknown that no one knows what will happen. Not actually information, is it? I can't even tell you with complete certainty what the Kunthental is. It's all muddled up in fragmented history, lost, retold, obscured, guessed at. So much so that the likelihood that you actually ate was actually Kunthental, that Kunthental actually exists, is slim. But if it was real, and anything like what our historians thought it would be, you wouldn't be alive. So as it is, something is off. Something is wrong. Or someone is lying. I would be thrilled were that the case. It was Lacey who declared my spice to be your Kunthental. Oh wait, blah, 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 blah. Wrong voice. I would be thrilled were that the case. It was Lacey who declared my spice to be your Kunthental in the first place. Yeah, at least sit down before reading out bone juice essays. Then all the more likely that someone is lying. I don't know Ernal. His machinations are rarely hollow. He's afforded one misguided and gullible leap into nonsense every now and then. Quite the leap, Kunthental. What about vibrations? Do you feel like you're underwater? Heron's attention snapped back to me. No. If it was a Kuntatal, just because she's not dead yet. Can you be more mindful of who you say things around? She has the right to hear this more than anyone, don't you think? Tell me what you know about the Kuntatal. What at least you think you know. Even if what I drank was not actually the Kuntatal, I want to know all I can. Right, of course. The Kuntatal is an ancient marrow, referenced throughout the oldest of our preserved history. The information is fragmented, so ultimately all we can do is guess at how it was used. It seems most of our prestigious warriors were connected to the Kuntatal, our leaders. Some believe they laced their weapons with it. Others believe they mended their wounds with it. Some believe they consumed it. As you have. I could have really done without him looking so excited at that fact. And it was an augment. No, that's not the right word. A right? But what did it do? Enhanced them somehow. Made them stronger or something else. The references are always vague. Not pure strength, something big, but obscure. A rating theory, it enhanced them at a cost. This is why my brother seems to reject the idea that you've consumed the Kuntatal and are still alive. If he wanted the Kuntatal and this is what he got, Juliet won't be pleased. Well, if he doesn't want her... Oh, he will. I just don't think he'll be pleased. Oh my gosh. Milrose party over here. Heron, I told you to keep out of sight, you maggot. Arnold groaned. Venom, meanwhile, seemed almost relieved. This is on your head, Heron. Nevertheless, Heron seemed unfazed. Tried to keep note of anything odd you might feel. Bear it great attention. It could end up extremely important. Allow yourself plenty of rest. You know, he's a little weird, but I like him. I like him a lot already. Every nuance, even the barest of threads tied to the Kuntatal, it's all invaluable, in affluence as well as influence. And that is why the Onyx Chandler wants me. One of the reasons. Dulier calls himself the Onyx Chandler because he is one of our foremost entrepreneurs, and a Gallian entrepreneur is by nature. Well, don't mind that. If you would rather a different, slightly more eccentric patron, I will string you up to the mast, and there you will stay if you do not. He's going. I have to go. Keep precious care of yourself. Everyone just disappeared, like boop. Like pop, like bubble pops. Like they just went. Arno watched Heron and Calipoa move away. Though Heron had seemed irreverent at first, he was now moving off as quick as he could, appearing thoroughly cowed. I should get to my station as well now that I've been spotted. Try to think before you speak, Ernal. Oh, and now he disappeared too. And then all that was left was Ernal. Oh, new codex. I'm guessing he's another person we can date or whatever. I'm guessing. Yep, there it is. Some people take strangeness in stride, but others find little worse than being outside the commonplace. Erna was born in the middle of an inter-family war of wills, an instant pawn in a game he had no interest in playing. His tale is not of overbearing expectation or unforgiving duty which he craved, but rather an expectation to rebel. He was born to the prodigal son, not the demanding general or his more esteemed sons who enacted high stakes, strict rules, and perilous demands of their children. There was nothing asked of him but to revel in the role of an upstart, to bask in the freedom he was offered outside the confines of Gallian expectation. Instead, he found himself caving for approval from Gallia. He embraced his grandfather's legacy instead of his father's, wishing to be a warrior more than an outcast. He has a blistering temper, indignant pride, and unnerving determination, all of which thoroughly blinded by desperation. Oh boy. Can we date anyone that isn't a Milrose? No, Roush Lulu, that's the big twist, unless there's a Jacob clan. We're supposed to be surprised when it's revealed 20 hours from now. Hey, Asher pointed out first, not me. Oh my gosh. Let's try and talk to him. He wasn't paying attention to me. Still watching the space where Heron had disappeared, it seemed he was considerably less interested in me than his brother had been. That was a bit of a relief. Your name is Ernal? Surprised, he looked back to me. Yes. Silence hung over us for a second. You are? Alenka. Okay. What more do you know about the Kuntatal? Wait, first, is your brother gonna be okay? He's in trouble, isn't he? Yeah, she's not supposed to be aboard. Kalipoa is notoriously quick to bend rules as far as Gallia commanders go, but the fools who take advantage, too much advantage, are bloody and broken. Is that what's gonna happen to Heron? No, not the way he probably deserves, but she is our cousin, and family counts for something, even here. Cousins, huh? Vadian mentioned that. Yes, Arano Milrose, Kalipoa Milrose, Vadian Milrose, all tied by our grandfather. I'm glad he'll be okay. I was gonna romance him, so it's pretty good that he's okay. Well, for what it's worth, I'm glad he'll be okay. Are you? Yes. I don't have to be fond of him to be glad he'll not be made bloody and broken. I suppose. What more do you know about the Kuntatal? Can you tell me more about the Kuntatal, Arnold? My brother knows more about it than I do. It's a fascination of his. But if you're asking for my personal opinion, it's far less optimistic than Heron's. I don't think the Kuntatal was a secret treasure or a secret power. I think it was a punishment. So that's why you think it'll kill me? I think if that was Kuntatal and you did consume it, you would be lucky if all it did was kill you. I didn't know what to say. I'm sorry. Perhaps I could do with some tact. Can you tell me more about the Onyx Chandler? It seems like you know the Onyx Chandler. Dulier? I do. We've known each other for years. If you're hoping to gain insight into what he wants from you, you'll be disappointed. He keeps his motivations to himself? Not always, but my loyalty is certainly not with you. So, he's your friend? So I suppose you and Dulier are close. Close is an odd word. Then, whatever you want to call it, it's comforting. Makes him seem less like an imposing shadow, more like a person. Him being a person shouldn't be any comfort, but I will say that you probably have less to fear from him than Lasega no doubt made it seem. Don't take my word for it, though. Dulier's not always predictable. I don't want to be a begrudged thought as you find yourself strapped to a table with your stomach split open. Whoa. As much as I want to learn more about the bone juice and the mill roses, it's gamer bedtime. Good night. Good night, Ralph. You can always watch the VOD, or I'll probably, catch people up for the next time I play this next week, or whatever. What do you do? What is it you do aboard the ship? Why? Why not? I haven't had a chance to talk to many of you, and you at least speak the same language I do. I'm a soldier. We all are. I'm currently tasked assisting the ship's quartermaster. It's not exciting. What were you doing near Edric? I can't tell you that. Then he sighed. All right. That's all. I'll leave you alone then. He nodded and wasted no time going on his way. Bye-bye. Good night, Ralph. Good night. Have a good sleep. The strangeness began that night. I'd settled in my hammock and began to drift off to sleep when cold hands seized hold of my lungs. They squeezed sudden and tight. My eyes flew open, but all I saw was the dark, all the light gone. I wanted to cry out, but I didn't seem to be able. I'd lost my voice. No, I lost my throat. Panic was there, bubbling under my ribs, but on the surface I was calm. My eyes were open, searching in the blackness, eagerly waiting for the page to turn. But after that, I don't remember. I fell asleep, I think. See you in 15 minutes, Ralph. Oh my gosh. And then we were arriving. We were home, but not my home. We had arrived in Gallia. Around me, the elves spoke excitedly. They were happy their journey was at an end. A long time must have passed, but I had no memory of it. My body was heavy, and I wondered if I'd ever actually left the hammock. I felt concerned, but the worry was still dull in the back of my mind. Questions formed slowly. How did I know it was morning? How did I know we had arrived at our destination? Had I been asleep, or had I just forgotten? I gingerly stretched my legs and arms and slowly opened my eyes to the warm glow of lanterns. The way I felt began to drain away. Despite my long and curious rest, I seemed to be waking quickly. I noticed some of the elves in the hammocks near me grow quiet. They began to stare. I was attracting more attention now than when I first arrived. I'm gonna smile. I smiled. They mostly recoiled, averting their gazes. The ones that continued to stare knit their brows in all things between disgust and concern. I began walking towards the stairs leading in onto deck, moving carefully and slow. I felt awake and light, and despite all the strangeness and the buried concern, I felt happy to be awake. But on the first step, my body filled with weight again. My legs were especially heavy, bearing down where I stood like heavy rocks. But worse, the world began to sway, a slow, sticky pendulum. Elves forming a line behind me urged me forward, caught in the busy fray of soldiers eager to disembark. This does not look good. I'm gonna try and press on. Told you they were vampires, but no one ever listens to Asher. Press on. I tried to move my legs, but the weight in them made it impossible. No matter how I strained... Oh, shoot. Sorry about that. There we go. But no matter how I strained, my legs refused to budge. Some of the elves behind me began to grumble in their impatience. Their complaints were escalating rapidly. Should I call out for help or experiment? Which one, guys? Which one should I do? Call out for help or experiment? Okay. That's what I was thinking too, Lulu. To be honest. Experiment. Ignoring the elves around me, I moved my right arm to the top of my lungs and pressed my thigh. An attempt at prodding my legs into waking. The elves became increasingly restless, moving with a rising aggression around me. They would make to shove me, but I'd barely move. I was not heavy only to myself. I didn't concern myself with them over much. I continued to prod my legs, trying to rouse them. Then I felt my thighs tighten, burst alive, and I was back in control, awake again. That was weird. Once aboard the deck, I moved as fast as I dared to the rail, eager to be out of the way if my legs locked up again. I stayed for a while, until Lacey found me.
Human, it's time to go ashore.
I'm having trouble moving.
Is that so?
He obviously didn't believe me. I truly am. Everything feels wrong.
Then I'll carry you.
Lysega. Vadian approached the two of us from nearby, his icy stare fixed on Lacey. Lacey exhaled a deeply annoyed sigh.
Vadian, not right now. Belay your instinct to cuddle the weak and helpless until I get her ashore. If dealing with her causes you such frustration, Lysega, I would gladly escort her to Juliet myself. You would do that for me? Hand her over and collect my gain?
Julian, men, she doesn't need your help. She is a Gallian superpower and newly becoming, after all. I felt the commander's strong grip as she pulled me against an armored body. The Onyx Chandler's waiting at the dock, Commander.
The Onyx Chandler's waiting at the dock, Commander. Thank you.
Shut up, Lacey. Shut up, Lacey. She called him Lacey. I didn't even notice that for a second. She called him Lacey. It's catching on. It's catching on, you guys. She called him Lacey. I hope this becomes a big thing now. Everyone's gonna call him Lacey from now on. I love it. Despite it all, hearing the commander call him Lacey put a grin on my face. I could feel him scowling. As we departed the bastion, I found myself hoping my mysterious symptoms would clear. Perhaps the sway of the ocean was exasperating me somehow. Perhaps I was seasick. Seasick. That's all. Listen, human. I don't know what Juliet has prepared for you, and it's true he's more powerful than he should be. But he doesn't have proper authority, and he's not the only one interested in you, or the Kuntatal. It's not impossible to stand against him. Do you understand? Good.
And the woman ate the Kuntatal in tea. Good luck, Juliet.
Oh, who's this? This is a very different looking person. It's not a Millerose! Guys, look! It's not a Millerose. It's a Lachust. A Lachust. Not a Millerose. Dang. We beat the odds. Wait, but we don't know if he's a love interest. He could also not be a love interest. What voice should I give him? Thank you, Lasega. Your well wishes mean a great deal. I heard a small clink as Lacey was passed a small bag from a man with blindingly blonde hair. When had blonde ever blinded me before? What exactly was his hair made of?
Juliet.
Ernal.
What are you thinking? What are you gonna do with her? You know that you can't.
Shh. Ernal, wait a second. We haven't introduced ourselves.
But...
Welcome to Gallia, Miss Alenka. It is truly a pleasure. I am Juliet La Juste, or the Onyx Chandler, as you may have heard. Okay, let's check. Is he a love interest? Is he a love interest? Is he a love interest? Let's check. He's a love interest. Heck yeah. So far we have 5 love interests. We have Juliet, Ernal, Heron, Lasega, and Vadian. Yes, shushed. One often forgets that Gallia is home to more than dark figures clad in iron and hide. It is the notion of many young Gahalian soldiers that their dark world runs solely on the sway of their sword, forgetting entirely that there always has been and always must be the presence of commerce on their sullen little isle. Dulier is an esteemed figure, unique in his status among generals, tacticians, and swordsmen. He has spent many long years cultivating trade lines and pumping blood into Gallia's economy, an uphill battle if ever there was one in a place such as this. It would take a relentless, tenacious, cunning man determined to succeed, and Dulier has splendidly. He is very wealthy, very well connected, and highly suspect. Calipoa helped me steady myself. She lingered a moment until she was satisfied I could hold myself up on my own. Then she gave me an encouraging smile and bustily went on her way. No, Calipoa, I'll miss you. You are the Onyx Chandler. Yes, again, it is a pleasure. You and I have much to discuss. Whoa, his hair is glowing. Your hair... Oh yes, it will make it easy for you here. I am easy to find in a crowd. It's like looking into the sun. What's wrong with me? Or is something wrong with him? The trip took a toll on you, Alenka? Let's get you indoors. A little help, Ernal?
My brother would much prefer to assist you with this, Dulier.
No, wait, I'm not going anywhere with you. Oh, well, I have no interest in forcing you. But I do believe I'm the only one that can really help you with our unfortunate predicament. You recall you ate my prize. I didn't do that on purpose. I expect not. He chuckles in dry humor while Ernal sighs. If you did, you would not be here, not like this, would you? How would I be? Best not to dwell on that. With the ordeal you've been through, I am not lacking compassion. Plucked out of some small, isolated village, the world spun out from beneath you. How did he know the world was spinning? The world is spinning! Manhandled and corralled by the likes of Lasega and the colorless isle of mine, you probably can't tell up from down. She's slightly moving. She's like, oh boy. I've eaten an ancient Gahalian poison that's weighing my body down, making the world spin, and your hair is set aflame, so blinding I can barely look at you. Is that so? That's such a weird thing to say right now. That sounds terrible. And what a poor first impression. Then let me remind you, dear human, I can help you. For what? What would be the price? Why would you want to? In complete honesty, Miss Alenka, I paid a great deal to track down the Kunthatal you ignorantly consumed. All that is left to do is study its effects on you. And that is why you had Lacey drag me here, whether I liked it or not? What gives you the right to do that? You kidnapped me. You could say that, but you could also say that I saved you. If the Kunthatal has something unfavorable in store for you, here is the only place to be if you wish to survive it. Further, I am far from the only person who is interested in the Kunthatal. Others may be less gentle. You're in quite a lot of danger, I'm afraid. I won't pretend to be altruistic. Of course, I seek selfish gains, but consider that this transparency is much more than you'll get from anyone else who would, and they will, seek to use you. Where else could I go? I'd met quite a few elves aboard the ship. There had been Vadian, eager to help. Heron had seemed to suggest I had another option with him. Where were they? Where was I? Why did the colors all become so blinding? And why was the world spinning? Why was I heavy? Why couldn't I remember? Alenka? Ernal sighed.
There she goes. Let's just add this to a long list of favors you owe me, Dulier.
Just seeing her drop. Big oof. Let's take her inside. What?
But right when...
Do you think so?
You're so...
I could hear muffled voices. They weren't that far, but they were speaking, though, through perhaps a door. I lay somewhere soft, my body snugly sunk into cushions. I kept my eyes shut. Certainly not judgmental.
Well, he's in love.
That is... The weight from before was gone, but I was nervous. If I tried to move and I couldn't, or what if I could move, only for the weight to come back again? I wasn't even entirely sure I was alive.
Did she...
The ship was long lost before. The voices seemed to be moving closer, I think. Whoa. As I lay still, a great wave of sleepiness took hold of me. I was losing my grip on consciousness again. Of course I was. So we can either fight it or sleep. What should we do? Fight it or sleep? First of all, let's save. Here we go. Return. Fight it or sleep, y'all. Fight it or sleep. I'm gonna drink again because my throat is starting to hurt from all the talking. Fight? Okay, let's do it. Fight it. I welled my strength and determination and struggled against sleep. The overwhelming drowsiness grew more desperate, but still I struggled to maintain awareness. He is an ambitious man. It's not going to end there.
Why? In all the time he's had control, why would he...
The voices were getting closer. Did Alenka move? Had I? Should we try to move my arm or stay still? I don't know what to pick. Stay still? Okay. I stayed perfectly still for as long as I could, but I could feel the heat of their gaze upon me. My skin began to tickle. My muscles grew warm, threatening to flare. I felt a surge of panic come with the knowledge I'd soon be given away, unable to keep still, unable to hide in my body. Well, this is weird. Alenka, you're awake.
How long was she?
It doesn't matter, she's awake now. Can you sit up? Try not to fall back asleep. The sooner we assess your situation, the sooner we can. They were talking quickly, overwhelming, intimidating, hovering.
Easy.
Alenka, take a deep breath. Calm down. No, I couldn't be calm. Something was wrong. I couldn't.
And again, what is this? The fourth time? How much longer can she last like this?
She stayed awake longer that time. I'll call for Irile. Well, there goes that. I sat out and found myself in a dark room. My heart was pounding. I felt cold and very hungry. I seemed to be in a bedroom. There was a window nearby. Outside I could see the night sky. I was wearing something silky and soft. Ooh, new outfit. I unlocked a new outfit. I climbed out of bed and laid my bare feet on the cold floor. Wait, noise level 0. That doesn't sound good. Ooh. I guess I have to stay quiet. Let's save. Well, actually, first of all, we should check. Where am I at in my... Okay, so... It seems our virtue and daring and might and desire, like, everything seems to be going up, which seems to be a good thing. Do we have anything in our inventory? No, we have nothing in our inventory. But yeah, we got another pair of clothes. Yeah, there it is. That's cool. So, yeah, it looks like we're having some positive stuff coming out of this, which is pretty cool. What should we do? I guess let's search the bedroom. The room I was in was pristine and extravagantly decorated. I was worlds away from Aunt Vanya's hut in Edric. There was a dresser, a nightstand, and a dressing table with multiple narrow drawers. Examine the dresser. I ran my hand across the surface of the dresser, a soft, delicate wood. My hand fell to the handle of a drawer, and I gave a gentle tug. The drawer gave a quiet thump. It was locked. I couldn't see or feel a place for a key. It was perhaps locked another way. I'm gonna force it open. Oof! Noise level. The wood felt soft, so I gave the dresser a strong tug. The drawer slammed against its internal mechanism, the soft wood crunching. The drawer felt looser, closer to giving. I gave it another tug. This time, a quiet crack allowed the drawer to slide open. When I looked inside the drawer, I found a silky, translucent cloth wrapped around the form of a tiny box. I gently pulled the cloth away, so soft to the touch it seemed to melt between my fingers. The box, once revealed, was built into the bottom of the drawer. It had a delicate lid inlaid with painted colors of red and green that slid open with slight pressure. Inside the box, I found loose, tiny, iridescent scales and rings and pendants made out of the same scales. One of the rings stood out among them all, carelessly tossed into a corner, yet still utterly captivating. The ring had a scale band of red and blue, wrapping around the finger, topped with a small orb that seemed to maintain a very subtle glow. I'm not gonna wear the ring. It's just like I come out and she's like, why are you wearing my ring? Take the ring and hide it. I decided to take the ring, thinking it would be wiser to cover the tracks of my theft. I slid the drawer closed after replacing everything the way I found it and looked around for somewhere to hide my prize. Search the nightstand. The small nightstand near the bed was made up of stone and glass. The glass was colored, shining in the moonlight. There was a strip of parchment, stained with a single drop of blood, pinned beneath a heavy lantern. Yeah, let's take the parchment. Oh, shoot, the noise level went up again. The parchment was snugly caught underneath the lantern. Forcing the parchment out caused the lantern to slide, loud in the quiet. I opened the parchment, careful not to touch the drop of blood. There was writing within that I, of course, could not decipher. I folded the parchment into a smaller square and kept it with me. Ooh. We got it. Search the dressing table. A luxurious vanity sat across from the bed, with a mirror reaching the ceiling. The wood frame was black, the mirror's frame with a gold inlay. I glanced briefly at my reflection. I looked forward into myself, cheeks puffy, eyes dewy. I'd been sleeping for a long time. Let's search the vanity's compartments. The vanity's top was littered with small, painted porcelain containers and black boxes. I opened a few of the porcelain lids. Potpourri, powders, creams, makeup. The boxes contained little of interest. Combs, hairpins. One comb did catch my eye, not because it was particularly pretty, but because the metal teeth looked particularly sharp and solid. Put the comb in your hair. I fished the comb out of the box I found it in, half buried in other metal pins. Then I put the comb in my hair and continued my search elsewhere. I don't think I need to look at myself. Examine the room's artwork. I took some time to examine the room's artwork. There were statues and statuettes on most of the surfaces, the walls covered in paintings. Even the draperies seemed to tell a story. I noticed that each extravagant piece was deceptive at first. The pieces seemed grand and happy, but only until I looked at them closer. Then they became morbid, sinister. Eye of the beholder, perhaps? Uh, let's save here. And also, let's see. Where was it? Was it under lore? Yeah, here it is. Gahalian art. Gahalian art and fashion are, perhaps surprisingly, widely popular across the Pillar Ocean. The cultural appetite Gahalians have for the lavish and expensive, combined with the brutality of their forces and seclusive nature, has altogether made their few exports highly valuable. The fashion elite of other cultures eager to collect and mimic whatever is new on the stormy island. But Gahalia, too, develops its trends as a mirror to others, albeit in a morbid way. True to Galian nature, they tend to adopt fashion, architecture, and style from those they've conquered. Every successful expedition, a surge of newly refined Gahalian art floods the island, and inevitably, great demand from across the sea is met with great profit for Gahalian entrepreneurs. Yet, rarely they artists. Big sad. Should I go to the window? Go to the window. I approached the room window and peered outside. There was a garden, a low fence, and beyond that a city street. What I could see of the city in the moonlight. It was overwhelming, towering, dark spires stretching toward the sky, the highest of which disappeared completely into the sky. The window itself was latched shut. It would be easy to open. I don't think we need to. Leave it alone. Let's leave the bedroom. The bedroom door was unlocked and opened mercifully without a creak. Outside the bedroom, I found myself in a hall that extended far both to my left and right. I could see a faint light coming from somewhere down the hall to my left, while to my right I could only see a dark series of doors just like the one I'd exited. Where should I go? Should I go to the left or to the right? Left or right? What's the choice? Left or right? And I think once we finish this section, I might call it a day. Oh, go down the hall to the right. Okay. I decided to head down the right hall. The hall was dark and quiet. I felt relatively certain I was safe and alone. As I headed down the hall, I passed a series of doors that all looked familiar. When I finally came to an entrance that was remarkably different from the rest, I paused in front of it and considered trying to enter. The room had two doors, framed in an ornate, pretentious design. Should I enter the double-door room or keep going? I love how I'm just referring to Lulu's decisions. Enter the double door room, let's go. The doors were heavier than the bedroom door had been. But inside, the room was much too dark to see anything. I thought I could make out the shape of drapes, and I could perhaps venture inside, pull them open, and let in the moonlight. Venture in and open the drapes? Or close the doors and stay in the hallway? Lulu's my residential person. I ask for advice on all things visual novel choices. Venture in, let's go. I took a deep breath and made my way into the quiet dark room. I headed straight for what I hoped was a window. I reached out my hands in darkness, brushing them lightly across the fabric texture of window drapes. I felt a wink of relief as I pulled the drapes open. Oh. Hello. Ah! Unmistakably human, or at least something very similar to human. 3 skulls were propped up like trophies on a table. The skulls were preserved pristine, the pale bones shining in the moonlight. Where was I? Who are these people? Examine the skulls or leave. I guess we might as well examine the skulls, right? I approached the 3 skulls carefully. Were they indeed trophies? Something else? The rest of the room seemed normal enough. More of an odd, extravagant artwork. Some chases and chairs, large windows and books. It seemed almost like a study. Nothing else seemed to be out of place as the three skulls did, and closer examination provided no further explanation as to why they were being displayed as they were. They must be trophies of a sort. What kind of person keeps skulls in their study as a trophy? After trying to discover something noteworthy about the skulls for a time and failing, I made my way out of the room, finding nothing else remarkable about it. So I'm guessing either keep going or head back. Oh, actually, first, before I even do that, do we have inventory now, since we picked up some things? Ooh, we do. We have the nightstand parchment and a sharp comb. Heck yeah. Keep going? Okay, let's go. I moved further down the hall until I was all the way to the end. I began to turn back around when I heard a muffled voice through a nearby door. My first instinct was to freeze in place, convinced I was about to be discovered, but the quiet voice continued to speak without missing a beat, completely unaware of my existence. I could tell it was a woman talking, though I couldn't make out any words through the door, and even if I was sitting right next to whoever was talking, they were probably speaking their language and not mine. Put your ear to the door anyway, sneak back to the bedroom. What shall I do? What shall I do? Put your ear to the door. Okay, let's go. Oh, noise level went up. I inched closer, as quiet as possible. After listening for a few seconds, I realized I could understand what was being said after all. Don't understand why he's keeping her here. She's not a pet, she's a person.
No one is using words like pet except for you and Heron. This is the safest place for her.
Oh, Heron is also saying that too? That's actually sweet. The more I hear about him, the more I'm like, I'm going down his route. Nothing's stopping me. This is hardly a charity. He wants her here to keep control.
And what if that simultaneously means she's safest here?
Silence hung in the air. Keep listening or leave. I'm glad Heron is like trying to stand up for me, even if his intentions are probably like more like, oh, I'm super curious about the Kuntatal. It's still kind of nice. Leave? Okay. Let's leave. I guess leave the bedroom. Bedroom door was unlocked and opened mercifully. So I'm guessing let's go down the one to the left then. Yeah. I steeled myself and carefully made my way down the left hall as quietly as I could. The closer I got to the light, the clearer the sound of fire crackling. Drawing closer still, an exuberant smell took over my senses. Something was being cooked, something which smelled delicious and to a stomach as bare as mine, utterly intoxicating. I edged my way to the very edge of the open archway, just inside the warm glow, the delicious smell. Turn back or peek in. Peek in. Okay, let's go. Unable to restrain myself, I carefully peered into the room with the glorious smell. Before me, I saw a large kitchen. A large fire was responsible for the bright glow, and just above the fire a pot, where no doubt the food could be found. My appetite, as ravenous as it was, I couldn't restrain myself any longer. I quickly made my way into the room, where I was inexplicably alone and helped myself to the soup bubbling in the pot. Nothing was ever more delicious. Oof. I'm disappointed. The woman I had watching you is obviously unworthy of her salary. I jumped. I didn't quite recognize the voice, even though I felt like I should have. Bone apple tea. Now, no need to be so tense. You are my guest. I turned around and saw the blonde man from the docks. He'd been talking with Ernal before as well, when I woke up. How many times had I woken up and fallen back asleep? Are you feeling all right? He stared intently, searching my face for its secrets. I kind of want to say this to kind of show that we've discovered his trophy room. So I'm going to say that. I've startled you? How long before I'm reduced to a skull on display as well? What? Gently surprised, he contains a smile. You've certainly been lurking around. You seem to have discovered my Western leatherback accolade. What? It's a long story. I'd be happy to tell it another time. If you're feeling up to it. There are some things the healers want me to ask you. Are you angry? Are you upset with me? Upset for looking around? Who wouldn't when waking up in a strange place? And you are a guest, not a prisoner. That said, would you feel comfortable answering some questions for me? It would be illuminating for us both, I'm sure. All right. I was certain I sounded unsure. I felt it. This was a sort of beautiful but eerie house, and this was a suspicious and definitely mysterious man. And the greatest mystery of all rested in my stomach. Irie, a well-respected healer that I contracted to work with us, compiled a list of symptoms and proposed treatments. Symptoms of the Kuntatal? Yes, what little research we have regarding the Kuntatal always concerned its application to elven bodies. In a general sense, your kind are not as hardy. What? How do you know that? It's debatable if you like. We only assume that a human would succumb to anything far easier than an elf would based on how our people respond to other things. But I have no interest in convincing you of your physical inferiority, nor of our own superiority. These are mere assumptions, not facts. Still, it would be better to have contingency plans all the same, no? The research is grim for even the best of specimens. Then, what does the research say will happen to me? The research only suggests what may happen. But don't lose heart. For every word of despair, there is a word of hope, of defeat, power. What kind of power? What kind of power? The warriors who taken Thundatal were stronger than their peers. As vague as our records are, what most of the writings have in common is the idea that the Kuntatal is a key to some greater threshold, beyond oneself. Now, what could that mean? If they were stronger, faster, smarter, if they understood things or saw things that we normally don't. There are dozens of suggestions. I would be happy to go over them individually with you later. What do you mean, see things that we normally don't? That specific reference comes from an almost entirely destroyed manuscript. What I've already said of it is about all there is to say. When was it destroyed? Ages ago. It seems it was damaged shortly after it was made. He smiles. Do you have an interest in Gahalian history? If only for obvious reasons. Of course I would feel the same. Fortunately, researching my people's obscure and muddled past is a hobby of mine. For now, you'll have to wait and see what fantastic abilities you manifest. We? Of course, you and I are both in an unexpected situation, forced to adapt. Then what are you proposing? I'm proposing what I was in the beginning, that we work together and embrace the idea we can mutually benefit by your success. I'm supposed to trust you? Now that would be foolish. I've told you in no uncertain terms that I intend to use you. What I'd suggest is you to embrace the idea of using me in return. And how can you help me? I can acquire information, I can protect you, and I have the means to promote you. Promote me? Your health,
Or your power? It remains to be seen. I began to feel overwhelmed, and my world began to get hazy again. While I wanted more information, the more I heard, the more difficult it became to listen. Julia smiled in a way I assumed was meant to be comforting. Perhaps it would be better to pace this out. Take a chance to reacquaint yourself with the waking world, and I will gather the information I've collected and present it to you this evening. You can have the run of the estate in the meantime. No, I want to know more now. I'm tired of being kept in the dark. I'm tired of elves making demands, of being herded and controlled. No one could fault you for wanting to understand what's happening to you, Alenka. But we need to be careful. The past few times you've been awake, you've lost consciousness, and rather than risk that again, we should take things slow. I'm not going to faint again. That is what I hope as well. So then you can... You're not going to tell me anything no matter what I say, are you? No, not right now. I apologize for the frustration, but I would be happy to answer all that I can this evening. Then I suppose I'll wait. Thank you. Thank you for tending to me. I suppose I should say thank you too. Oh? Have I not been ill? Found myself in a great deal of trouble? Surely you've guessed I am not acting out of the kindness of my heart. Nevertheless, I appreciate being alive, as do most of us. Perhaps you'd like some air out in the garden, what passes for a garden in the mouth of the city anyway. It'd be light out in an hour or so, if you're uncomfortable in the dark. But you mustn't be too afraid of the dark, exploring as you are. Oh, and Alenka? Do you recall being an elf named Heron when you were aboard the Bastion? Heron, young, pleased with himself? Oh, I do. I decided he's gonna be my route. Yes, I met him. Julie sighs. Ah, Heron and Erno will be over this evening. Heron's been relentlessly trying to get an audience with you. He's been at it for days now. Wow, he's really wanting it. They're bringing over their own records concerning the Kuntatal. I suspect you'd be interested. 2 birds, 1 stone. Is knowing Heron a problem? Is there something about Heron I should know? No, if you sense some irritation in my tone, it is simply that I find his eagerness cumbersome. But he shouldn't be a problem, though. Between you and me, I had hoped he was embellishing the extent of your relationship. Embellishing? I've only met him briefly. Is that so? Yes? What is this conversation? Something to mention later this evening, If you need anything, there are servants about that can assist you. Somewhere. I spent the rest of the day in the room I woke up in. My room, as Julia called it. A daze lingered while I tried to prepare myself for dinner with the elves. Oh boy, I've already been playing this for like ages. Oh boy. Maybe we should stop here and start again next time. Yeah, I think I'll do that because it is getting late. Probably shouldn't be streaming any much longer because I think it's been like how many hours? It's already been over 3 hours. Oh boy. Big oof. So I should probably save here. Let's save. Save. Our Father's Treasures. Wait, first let's check what we got here. So people, places, lore. Yeah, we read everything. So let's see where we're at here. So we have high charm. High curiosity. Our cunning is still kind of low. The tenacity has gone up though. Amity, desire, faith, charity, might, virtue, daring. It seems most things have been going up, which is pretty good. And we have 2 items, which is also pretty good too. Look, a sharp comb and a nightstand parchment. That's pretty good, I would say. We also have different clothes to pick from. Heck yeah. But yeah, anyways.
Sadly, Leo, we only have one new outfit, and it's the one that I'm wearing right now. But I bet we'll probably get this one soon, and then at some point we'll probably be able to get some of these other ones that we have in this list of outfits. Hopefully. But yeah. Anyways, it looks like we've been gaining some stuff here, which is pretty good. Everything seems to be on the positive slope in terms of our attributes, which hopefully means I've been making some good decisions, hopefully. Yeah, definitely the curiosity and charm are probably and charity. Charity, curiosity, charm, and daring are like some of the highest traits that I have at the moment, apparently. But yeah, I definitely should get some food. Okay, so we did save though, right? Yep, we did. Okay, so I think that's it for today. Thank you guys all for joining me on the start of this probably crazy adventure. When I think about it, I'm just like, whoa. Ooh boy, still no rest. Yep. Big oof. But yeah, I definitely need to get some food and rest my voice because my throat is starting to really hurt from talking so much this entire time, doing all those voices and whatnot. I'm excited to see where this goes. I think so far, seeing the characters, I'm probably gonna go down Heron's route, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see how things turn out. But yeah, thank you guys all so much for watching. Let's see who's live. Okay. Let's see. Who is live? Scabbard is live. We could raid Scabbard. So let's do that. Raid Scabbard. Drink some bone tea. Heck yeah. I absolutely should do that. Good for the throat. Absolutely. Though it may lead me to get kidnapped by some hot looking elves, which can be a struggle in and of its own. But anyways, thank you for hanging out this whole time, Leo. Loved seeing you around. Thank you, everybody else. Thank you for the biddies, too, as well. Thank you for the raid, Shelly. It was nice seeing everybody here, and I hope everybody has been enjoying this so far as much as I am. And I'll see you guys with more of this next week. But yeah, thank you guys so much. I'll see you around. Bye-bye.